Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones, produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope, hold the rope, hold the rope. I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope, hold the rope, hold the rope. 3, 1, 2, 3. Turn that back,
Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Morning. I was a little bit worried about the weather here in Hoover for a moment because I woke up and it was raining and it wasn't pretty, and I thought maybe that the first game would get delayed, but it's not the case. The weather is not going to keep the Gamecocks and the Bulldogs from playing baseball as they kick Hoover off. Can't say kick it off, right? It's baseball. Can't say tip off either. I don't know why I would say kickoff in this situation.
No, it's a kickoff. Start time. Whatever you want to say. Yeah.
It's a first pitch, Matt.
First pitch. There we go.
Nobody would have ever told you to be ready for first pitch at 11:02, would they? When you were playing.
They just said, let's score a lot of points today.
That's right. A whole heck of a lot of points. Yeah. Later on, we'll be tossing fishing tackle into the woods, right? We're making sure we get all the wrong terminology.
Catching
today
those limb brim up in the tree, huh? Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not a kickoff. It's not a tip-off. It was first pitch. It's like Mike Neighbors gave me, look at me a little bit, not cross-eyed, just a little bit of a smirk when I referred to the first basketball game of the year as opening day, because baseball's the only game that you do an opening day. There's no opening day for football. Nobody ever celebrated opening day they call it opening weekend,
opening
right,
weekend.
in the NFL?
Yeah, opening weekend. And it's usually a Thursday to Monday deal, ending with a doubleheader on Monday, but Thursday usually the defending Super Bowl champ plays. Yeah.
It's one of those things that you get an extra logo on the field for, right? I mean, you get an extra logo. You get a different logo if you're playing a Thanksgiving game.
Right.
You get a different logo if it's the playoffs, certainly if it's the Super Bowl.
But the opening weekend cred's out there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's not like a special logo on the baseball field in Hoover. It's just an SEC logo, which they've got kind of dotted all around. I was going to say town, but it's probably just this section of town. Hoover is, of course, just south of Birmingham. That's where the SEC offices are built. I've actually been to those offices before. They do not. It is not It's not like Burns' evil skyscraper in Springfield in The Simpsons. No, it's actually a place you can walk inside. A lot of sunlight coming through. Pretty happy place. So this is the only tournament that they host, really anywhere near the conference offices. And I've put a theory into why they do this too. When you think of all the sports calendar year in college, it starts with soccer in August, and football is just a week after that, and then it ends with baseball. So baseball's the last of the things that they've got to go travel for, meaning the people that work for the league. By this time, they've been all around the region for various conference tournaments or championships. Just think of all of the other conference. The SEC championships. They've got one for every sport. Campus sites for various ones, basketball and football or in special spots. And the people that run the league are going all over the place to run these tournaments. And in some cases, like in March, most of them are spending 2 weeks straight on the road, away from home. When they do the men's tournament in Nashville, they do the women's tournament in Greenville. You go to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
You go to both of them in that case. This is the last thing that they've got to worry about until, the league meetings haven't been held yet, right? I don't think so. And then there's media days, which is right here in Hoover. So this is the start of the summer, the summer vacation for the people that run the SEC. So they don't have to go anywhere else. They just have to go 30 minutes south from home. That's bad. It's not even 30 minutes. It's 10 minutes.
Does Alabama have their coaching hires yet? You know, they're going to have a new baseball coach. And is Oates still their basketball coach? They're going to let him stay, huh, after all that's going on. So
I imagine they'd have gotten rid of him.
They was going to say they could do their coaching hires in Hoover as well.
Do you see Bediako, their big center, decided to stay in the draft?
Okay,
that's a big man. That'll affect them. I think that's a big portion. Arkansas got pretty good news as far as that was concerned. Although I don't know if this was a surprise that Tremont Mark pulled his name out of the draft. I don't know if he really was highly rated by the scouts, but his name was in the draft, and now it's out. And it's 8 days until. You had eight more days from today.
Yeah. Well, if Tristan Thompson still has a job in the league, there's big men wanted in the NBA. That's for sure. Because Tristan looked a little tired, old, and slow last night. So did the Lakers, though. It's no disrespect to the Nuggets doing their thing, but I was surprised.
At this point, did they just view it as an inevitability?
Hey, LeBron played every minute of the first half and had 31 points in the first half. I think he scored 9 in the second. He was tired, man. He's put a lot of miles on those tires, and he needs some help. He just can't. He could give you a half like that, but the Nuggets are just too tough. Let's be honest about it. The Nuggets are the best team in basketball this year, and.
And they're not even the main. They're not even the main topic of conversation in the basketball world.
Carmelo's retiring. There's all sorts of stuff going on.
Well, it's also will LeBron retire? I think that's the top of the list. When he walks off the court saying, "I don't know if I really want to do this now." Now you got to have the perspective of this is a man whose season just ended, and like you said, he must have been exhausted. Can you really believe what he's saying at that moment? At least, yeah, you can believe it. Yeah, he's going to think about it, but he's not about to retire. There's no way. His son is a year away. His son is a year away from coming into the NBA.
If you're LeBron, it's Zinedine Zidane. He was the coach at Real Madrid when Ronaldo was there, and he told him, he said, "Look, bro, you're an aging superstar. You're amazing. You're one of the best to ever do it. You still are one of the best to ever do it, and you can play longer if you'll sit out a game here, if you won't play all 90 minutes. So LeBron you got to kind of check your ego a little bit and say, all right, you saw Carmelo Anthony, you saw Allen Iverson, you saw some of the greats. They say, hey, we want you to come off the bench and play with the second unit and play 20 minutes. They're like, oh, not me. So it's like that's kind of how it goes, where it's like, LeBron, you can't be a full-time starter. We need you here. We don't care what you're doing in January, in October, December basketball-wise. We need you peaking at the right time, and we need your legs. We need you for the playoff run. It's kind of like a quarterback also. Brett Favre not going through camp. You see LaDainian Tomlinson, the end of his not going through camp. He doesn't need camp. He's already there. We need him there for the regular season. So I think with LeBron, you talk about load management and all that stuff. You just got to come up with a plan that you can both work with. But there's no reason that he should be playing more than 40 regular season games. Like, really, LeBron should play half the he shouldn't even be playing until after Christmas or after the All-Star break. And then that's when he should be starting to tune it up instead of playing the whole year. Save your legs a little bit.
There's a guy that we could get, be allowed to say, load management, that's fine, and expect that he wouldn't play until the halfway point. It'd be him.
Absolutely, and there would be no problems. It's just up his ego. I think that's how you'd have to deal with it.
Well, and that was the thing I would get into is I read a story this morning about Madison Bum. It's a different sport. Madison Bumgarner. He was released by Arizona. I think 3 years into a 5-year contract, paying him an enormous amount of money to get his brains beat in. He had an ERA over 10 this year, and he was reluctant. He was resistant to some of plenty of, I don't know if this necessarily the coaching that he was being given, but the game plans that he was being given. And this is somebody that had done things a certain way with his time in the Giants, and had better stuff then. His stuff had diminished. The team wanted him to pitch a little bit differently to this hitter or that hitter, and he basically wanted to take the scouting reports, crumple them up, and throw them in the garbage and just do it his way. But he had won 3 World Series with the Giants. He was a postseason MVP.
One of my favorite. You know how I thought there was Madison Bumgarner had a time period where if it was playoff baseball, man, you wanted him on the bump.
And they let him do it until it was obvious, this isn't working. The ERA over 10 speaks for itself, and they cut rope. Now, Madison Bumgarner is for a while there, he was a year-by-year candidate for the Cy Young and an All-Star and World Series. He's not even close to being as good as what he's done over the course of a 20-year career as LeBron has been with all the teams that he's played for, every single one of them. So he's a different sport too. It's a sport where it does sometimes appear that the stars are the ones who run the show, not the coaches, not even the general managers in some cases. So who's the one who's going to speak to him about this? Who's the one that sits him down? Who does he even sit down with? The Bus family? Is it that it's got to be the owners? They're the only ones that would have as much influence, if not more.
Is that Pelinka? Is he one of the GMs there?
Well, he's the general manager.
Yeah.
So I would assume he'd have to be in on a meeting like that.
Yeah.
But it's got to be the.
He's owed 47 next year, Phil, and then 50 the next. So he's owed 97 over the next 2 years, and he can't play all 82. But the thing is, isn't the goal to win a title and I think he can give you a little bit here and there, but he got to tune him up for the playoffs. But yeah, they just need some more depth. I mean, I heard somewhere they're talking about Kyrie Irving going there, and it's like, well, you got and really the truth is Anthony Davis didn't show up. Anthony Davis got found out against the Nuggets, and I'm an Anthony Davis fan, but that dude, he could not match whatever Denver was doing. He had no answer. He looked like he didn't want to be aggressive on offense. He wouldn't shoot the ball. Now that is not denying his defense and his rebounding and what he can do, but Anthony Davis kind of got found out a little bit, and LeBron. He just needs some help. He needs help. But if you get Kyrie, you got Kyrie, LeBron, and AD. You got there's each one of them are going to miss 20 games of the season. So how?
Because everywhere Kyrie is gone, everything's worked out so well anyway.
It doesn't. I don't know if Kyrie should be a Laker. Yeah, and
That's not necessary. I don't know. He to me seems just like a grenade with skin.
I love his basketball talent. Like I can't deny that. But I don't know if I think his best days are behind him as well.
And those best days were good, and they did involve a title. But I think he's a different person than he was then. Yeah. If you want to worry about team chemistry and things like that, he fails at the class of chemistry. Let's put it in those terms.
He struggles, that's for sure. He needs some help.
Well, we will find out who Arkansas plays tomorrow. By that time tomorrow, we'll be right into the middle of halftime, pretty much. Right near the end of it, actually, because we're on the air from 9 until 12 tomorrow.
9 to 12
halftime.
Tomorrow. Early show, right. Early class. I like it.
It's when we call it first quarter, because it's not necessarily lunchtime for the whole thing. But it's either Tennessee or Texas A&M. And
is there a preference, Phil?
Tennessee, I guess, just because I like when Arkansas and Tennessee play, and I like orange better than maroon. But then I'm kind of like grasping at straws here, so I don't really know if it matters. Hogs went 6-0 against them combined.
Okay, fair enough.
And well, let's see. I can throw it out there. Arkansas basically has owned Tennessee since Vitello's been the head coach. I think it's a 10-1 record. I've got to go back.
It's all right.
Yeah.
So
why not see if you can keep that thing going? Well, why not?
There's
why
just
not
some
Tennessee?
teams that you match up with, Phil, that players in their mind and their psyche, they get out there and they just feel really good about it. And it's like, man, we just have all the confidence and we're ready to go. You're high alert. It seems like Tennessee is that team for the Hogs. So I agree with you on that.
I think so, too. Yeah, they definitely play well against Tennessee. Yeah, 10-1 against the Volunteers since Vitello's been the head coach. And that does include a win in the SEC championship game in this tournament in 2021. So as of now, it's Carolina leading Georgia 5-0. Georgia's one of the teams that needs to win the tournament if they're going to make it to the NCAA postseason. It doesn't look like that's happening now. Carolina, they're in a position where they lost 4 consecutive series to end the regular season. So they might need, in their mind, they might need to do a little something to solidify the idea that they'll be a host in a regional. I think they're in a pretty good position, but losing the last 4 series is not the way to make it to being a top 16 seed. Dave Van Horn talked to the media about an hour ago. Really wasn't anything mind-blowing or groundbreaking. By the time we got off the air yesterday, literally as I pushed the power button on my Comrex, the email came from the league office that Dave Van Horn was voted SEC Coach of the Year. And man, there was no surprise about that, but that's something I want to get into when we get into the next segment. Here's what's up on halftime today. Things have been moved around a little bit for usual Tuesday. Chuck Barrett on at 12 noon for a couple of segments, and then we'll have Clay Henry from 12:30 through the end of the show. SEC Tournament Week, we're on the road with the Razorbacks right here in Hoover. All our live coverage presented by Resort TV Cable in Hot Springs, Beckert in Van Buren, and the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery with over $1.2 billion in scholarships raised for Arkansas students. So that means we've got an open segment. If you want to call or text, 877-377-6963. It's halftime, and we'll be right back.
Give up the crack and the one-night stands, and then I'll settle down. Just a quiet little time and forget about everything. But you know we'll always keep moving. You know he's never gonna stop moving. 'Cause he's a rolling stone.
ESPN Arkansas and Phil Elson are live in Hoover, Alabama at the 2023 SEC Baseball Tournament. Our coverage is presented by Resort TV Cable in Hot Springs. Sign up in May and we'll double your speeds by June 1st. By Beckert. Beckert and Van Buren is now hiring for junior electrical project engineer and electrical engineer positions. And by the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, with over $1.2 billion in scholarships raised for Arkansas students.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Does one of those electric mowers even make noise, Chuck?
Not a lot. Kind of like driving a hybrid car. I don't know about you guys, man. When I was about 13 and I didn't want to mow the yard, I was a master at flooding out the mower. I could have that sucker flooded out in 10 minutes. There's no way anybody was going to mow that day.
Don't miss The Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while, or if you haven't had the best of experiences with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. Give her a call at 494-7600. They'll take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today. 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
When it's time for breakfast, Calico County is making it all from scratch. You have the dedicated early morning crew at Calico are cooking up and serving buttermilk pancakes, moist biscuits, rich waffles, country fried potatoes, 3 types of gravy, and of course their famous cinnamon rolls and much more. They serve all of this and a lot more 7 days a week until 11 a.m. Stop in, call ahead, or get it to go. Or just come by and pick up a dozen cinnamon rolls for the office. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, or catering, roll on into Calico County. They're home cooking good. Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue behind Randall Ford.
Has your wife started talking about having a hot girl summer? Does she keep adding hashtag YOLO to her social media posts? Is she spending more time with her new trainer than with you? It might be time to discuss what a divorce would mean for you and your family. Mock Legal Solutions is here to help. We offer flat fees and payment plans. Don't let hot girl summer sneak up on you. Call us today for a free consultation. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006. Will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Summer is finally here, and with it comes the heat. Don't get caught off guard with a broken AC unit. Upgrade now with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric to ensure a comfortable and cool summer. Get a new AC system before May 31st, and you'll receive a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. That's right, free. That's a value of over $1,000.
Thank you for choosing Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. We'll take care of everything so you can enjoy a worry-free summer.
Upgrade your AC today and get a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. Offer ends May 31st. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
So yesterday when the SEC postseason baseball awards were announced, and of course the list of the first teamers, the second teamers, the all freshman team, and the all defensive team, those all come out at the same time. Arkansas is their share of the SEC regular season championship with the Florida Gators. And the Gators have 5 members on the first team, all SEC. Caglianone, the first baseman who led the league in home runs, great two-way player. Curlin, their second baseman. Wyatt Langford, great outfielder. Brandon Neely, the relief pitcher. And Josh Rivera, the shortstop. That's 5 out of 12 players on this team here. 5 out of 12. Arkansas has 1, and it's Hagen Smith, who's been incredibly valuable by bouncing between starting rotation and relief, and then back again to starting rotation. Even on the SEC all-second team, Arkansas has 1, Kendall Diggs, as the designated hitter utility player. And he did both, of course. He did play the outfield and was mostly as a designated hitter. The Ole Miss Rebels won 6 conference games. They have 2 players on the all-SEC second team. The catcher Calvin Harris, the shortstop Jacob Gonzalez, and the outfielder Kemp Alderman. All of them have fine individual reasons to be given this kind of recognition. And Arkansas has other players that would have maybe been recognized had there not been injuries, like a Jared Wagner. Jace Borfin, is left off. He was never hurt this year. But when you're fighting for outfield spots, sometimes that'll happen, even though he had a great year. 2 players. 1 player on the freshman team, Gage Wood, and 2 players on the defensive team, Hagen Smith, one of them. And I still don't know how coaches necessarily vote for the best fielding pitcher. I think they're just looking at numbers.
I thought that always went to Greg Maddux.
Yeah, it used to go to Greg Maddux for a really good reason, because he was the best fielder and pitcher in baseball. But as far as college, last year it was Connor Nolan. And I remember thinking—
he's an athlete,
I remember Connor was really good at taking— man, there were 3 times last year a ball was hit off of him. I mean, not a little ground ball, but like 100 miles an hour off his butt or off his leg or off his midsection, and he fielded it and threw him out each time. That must have been the reason why they gave it to him. And Josenberger, Arkansas center fielder, is on the all-defensive team. So basically, there are 4 people recognized out of 4 different teams of 12 players each. So that's a lot of players being recognized, and only 4 from one of the 2 league champions.
This
is prime example as why Dave Van Horn is got to be one of the easiest decisions for coaches of the year in the Southeastern Conference for baseball.
Yeah, it's cool to get individual recognition for a team sport, but we all it's all a team sport, and I'd bet, Phil, if you ask all those guys, they don't play it for individual recognition. You know, they're playing it to win the game, to try to win an SEC championship, to try to win a national championship, and they're just trying to do it the best they can. And it's cool when you get recognized. Now, is this recognized by your peers, or is this recognized by the media? What is
this? Is coaches.
Coaches. See, and that's even cooler, I think, when your peers
coaches
recognize
or sports
you.
information directors.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like when Steve Sprayer said, "Well, my GA filled out the sheet." I don't know why Tim Tebow's not on there. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah, so I've always thought that when that recognition is coming from the coaches, that it does show the ultimate respect. But you know, they know what it's like to deal with this kind of season that starts with. There's always going to be expectations for the Arkansas baseball team, no matter what, just because of the string of success. And Dave's job as the coach is a major reason why you have those expectations on an annual basis, is because you expect that this guy will be able to either get him going in what we saw in 2021. And truthfully, in 2021, that team probably the parts together, I don't know if it fit the idea that they won every single weekend until the NC State Super Regional. So I think Dave did a masterful job coaching that team. Last year, you know, it was not the best regular season. They struggled, especially at the end, and they gelled together at the right time. You know, there were some people that were a little iffy on whether or not they could put things together. I didn't necessarily go into the postseason last year thinking, yeah, this team's going to win 2 rounds of the playoffs on the road and end up in Omaha, but they did it. And man, I mean, there's one theme to all of this, to all of this, especially in this last 6-year stretch where Arkansas has become the most successful regular season team in the league. And man, they've had their share of postseason success too. They just haven't raised the national championship trophy, but I still believe that is coming. Each team has been different. Like that 2018 team, you went into that year knowing that there was something special about this club. There were a lot of returners from the year before. I remember going into that year thinking, yes, this team's a national contender. I don't doubt it at all. You lost a lot of guys from that team for 2019. It was a different club, and they still got to Omaha, still won a division championship. 2021, you know, I don't remember anybody going into that season thinking they're going to win every weekend, and they did. You know, and they found a magic hand in Kevin Kopps, and that was a totally different season. And then last year, you know, we just got to this year too. They always find a way, and there's another common denominator among this since 2018, and it's Nate Thompson, who's the recruiting coordinator and hitting coach, and then the next year was Matt Hobbs. And, you know, I have the soundbite of Dave deflecting some of the credit to his coaches, and he says that he believes that it should be a coaching staff of the year award, which I like that, and I don't like.
Well, I still think it's coach of the year, but it's exactly what he's saying. Dave Van Horn, he has to put this group together. You know, he does deserve a lot of the credit, and I know it's a weird, but he is humbling where he's not going to sit up there and say, hey, look at what I've done, because it is a process, it is a team, it is about community, and it's about doing it the right way, and it starts with him. It starts with him, and he is the leader.
And it's also about like figuring out what buttons to push of each player.
It's more psychological than anything, Phil, because at that level they can all play. You got to kind of get them right. It's like Coach Nutt used to always say, hey, go call your mama. You know, go write a letter. I don't know if they write letters anymore, but go write a letter to your mama anytime it's not really working, you know, and it has some validity to that.
Coach Nutt sounds like Bubba Carpenter on the broadcast. He'll say, go call your mommy when the guy strikes out and complains about it to the umpire. I think Bubba Carpenter and Coach Nutt have some things in common here, no doubt.
They were up there around the same time. When was Bubba? In the early 90s? Coach Nutt was a receiver coach, I think, in the early 90s at Arkansas. So they would have been up there on campus around the same time.
It would make sense if they would have crossed paths.
Yeah.
You know, Dave Van, one thing that really stood out, and I've been doing the baseball games full-time since the 2015 season, but the first time I did them was 2011, just filling in for Chuck when he had basketball, and he'd miss a road series at San Diego State, which was the first time I traveled with the team, or a couple of games on a weekend at Baum, and I didn't pick up on it necessarily then, but traveling with Dave, and especially I'll never forget the moment that he, and this was in Hoover in 2015, and Andrew Benintendi, that was the year Benny won the Golden Spikes Award, and the first award he got was the SEC Player of the Year Award, and it was at the top of the escalator at the Hyatt Hotel that the entire team gathered around, and Dave doled out, first team to this guy, first team to that guy, second team to that guy, and then it was time to announce Benny. And Benny was just such he was bashful in the spotlight. He, even around his teammates, when they were celebrating this award for him, you could just see that he was blushing. He was almost like he was a kid amongst his bigger brothers, and they were all bigger than him too. That was the other thing that stood out about Benny. But it was the way that Dave said, and this was the first time a Razorback won the SEC Player of the Year Award. He said, "One of our own, a Razorback." And it was the way Dave said a Razorback. He said it with a glimmer in his eye. He said it with pride in his bearing and in his face and in his voice. And it hit me at that moment. And I knew his story by then. A guy who played 1 year for Arkansas, chose to come there out of McLennan and Community College, came back to be the graduate assistant, and knew pretty much that this was where he wanted to be the head coach, and left a great job at Nebraska to do this. And it was then that I realized this really is truly a Razorback through and through. And I feel like that's one reason. The success is one thing. You got to have success if you're going to truly be beloved, right? But in this state, when everybody does associate and feels that even if you didn't go to the school, you grow up a Razorback still as a fan, and it's ingrained in you. Dave didn't grow up here, but it feels like he did.
They've taken a liking to him, yeah.
Not just a liking. It's like a.
There could be a statue if they win.
There's an embodiment, I think.
Yeah.
An embodiment about when you think of Arkansas baseball, you can't not think of Van Horn now. And for all those years, it was Norm DeBrine, and he also is someone just like Dave, wasn't from Arkansas. Even when you talk to Norm now, you can tell he's not from Arkansas. He still sounds like somebody who's from the North. But he's as Razorback as anybody else, and it's just what the thing that's amazing is to see that Dave has taken a program that was successful under Norm DeBrine. Maybe not as much in the '90s, but that's more because of the league that they joined, and he's taken that success, and it's just even in the last 6 years, it's just gone into overdrive, and you got to feed the beast. You got to keep winning, and they find ways to keep winning. Even in this day and age where teams change so much and success is hard to continue, just look at Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I think that this has been a masterful job, and it isn't over yet. And I think that if this team does make it to the College World Series, he's got to be a front runner for being the National Coach of the Year, which I know is something that he hasn't won here. He's been a Big 12 Coach of the Year. He's been an SEC Coach of the Year 3 times now, but never. He has been. That's right. He was the National Coach of the Year one season, 2001 Baseball America with Nebraska. Taking them to the College World Series. Never won it at Arkansas, though, and this year feels like it could be one of those years. 2021 could have been one of those years, too, but I think you got to get to Omaha in order to get those votes.
Just to add another sticker to that ring y'all are already getting. SEC champs, just make it one ring now. Go ahead and win in Omaha, win the tournament, and just put it all up there and have one gangster ring.
Well, there's 3 sides to those rings, Matt, right?
You know what I mean? Get it right.
Season,
you got one, yes. You got one last year. You're getting another one this year, man. You're feeding it. Success after success. I like it.
We're open for calls and texts, 877-377-6963, and we'll come back with more halftime after this.
I guess I should have kept my mouth shut when I started to brag about my car. But I can't back down now because I pushed the other guys too
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move, and look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
When it's time for breakfast, Calico County is making it all from scratch. Yeah, the dedicated early morning crew at Calico are cooking up and serving buttermilk pancakes, moist biscuits, rich waffles, country fried potatoes, 3 types of gravy, and of course their famous cinnamon rolls and much more. They serve all of this and a lot more 7 days a week until 11 a.m. Stop in, call ahead, or get it to go. Or just come by and pick up a dozen cinnamon rolls for the office. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, or catering, roll on into Calico County. They're home cooking good. Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue behind Randall Ford.
Come into Gray Brothers Equipment and pick from our great selection of BX Kubota tractors or the ever-dependable L-Series Kubota compact tractor up to the L4701 compact tractor with 0% financing up to 72 months. It's time for your new Kubota. Now through June 30th, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information. Gray Brothers Equipment, Portsmouth and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
There is nothing like football game days on the Hill. Coach Sam Pittman and the Hogs take Frank Broyles Field at Razorback Stadium for the 2023 football season this September.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
Call the Hogs with your entire family and secure season tickets today at ArkansasRazorbacks.com or over the phone at 800-982-HOGS.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. It looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Yeah, this is something we occasionally forget about. You can apply for your homestead tax credit right now. Save $375 on your property taxes just by applying. You just got to call your local county assessor. For more details, you can call Zach Johnson in Sebastian County, 479-784-1516. Again, that's in Sebastian County, 479-784-1516. Application's got to be completed by the end of May for your 2022 property taxes. This applies to the home and up to 1 acre of land. If you own your home and it's your primary residence, you qualify. For more information in Sebastian County, you can go online to the county website, sebastiancountyar.gov. Calls and texts on halftime coming in at 877-377-6963. Carolina and Georgia are already in the 7th inning. We'll see about this tomorrow as I try to plan out the schedule for the Learfield pregame show for tomorrow. Before the pitch timer, we would usually be thinking 3-hour baseball games. So with a 9:30 first pitch, we would have usually gone on the air at 12:30. But if I'm going by this game here, and of course not every baseball game is is the same length, we might be just about right. Might be just about right. So 12 noon tomorrow is when the Learfield pregame starts. Halftime will be 9 to 12. And then we'll see what happens after that, because if Arkansas wins tomorrow, then they play 4:30 on Thursday. If the Razorbacks lose tomorrow, then it's a 9:30 morning game, which just throws a monkey wrench into all of the midday programming ideas. Looks like Georgia is flying out. Yeah, this game's moving along nice and fast. Was there ever, Matt, there's a thought amongst baseball people that you're never supposed to comment on how quickly a game is being played, especially in the press box, because if that happens, if you say, hey, this game's only an hour and a half long and look how far along we are, next thing you know, you're going to play 15 innings in 4 hours. I've tested this myself personally, and it's a bunch of crap, but I wonder if there's the same thing in football, in a timed game.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that happening. You have that Ole Miss game, that Tennessee game, and Kentucky game that can combine for 20 total overtimes. So that it kind of, I don't know what those announcers were saying there, but the thing that was different, I think, in high school that you really noticed it was when you had two option teams or two teams that like to run the ball.
Sure.
And then you played against a team like a Greenwood or a Shiloh Christian, somebody who wanted to throw it all over the park. And that clock stops on incomplete passes. That stock clocks every time they go out of bounds. And so it seemed like those games would last. I'd get done, Phil, we'd get done with football games, and you could hear the Greenwood game just start in the fourth quarter when we were already done and out of the locker room, because they like to throw it 47 times. Southside was like that a lot too. They had the Lunnies, being Barry Lunny and Daniel Lunny and Josh Driscoll as well. They like to throw it all over the yard.
I wonder if we'd be worried about if we still had any teams that ran the option, or really worried about. I guess there might be a little more running the ball this next year, but we're in a position where football, the industry of college football is speeding the game up. I mean, this next year, the clock won't stop any longer on first downs. You remember they were.
So it's shortening the game. It's not really speeding it up. Excuse me.
That's right. It's shortening. It's taking fewer plays, essentially. Keep the clock going. But I wonder how. Remember, there was also apparently a proposal to stop to keep the clock winding on incomplete passes, which really would have felt like a step too far for me. And I think I wonder how close, or if there was a vote on that, or how close it would be, because that to me would really speed a game up or shorten it, to use the term you're saying.
Yeah, a lot of these things are performance-based, getting yards. So the more plays you get, the more possessions you have, the more chances you're going to get to get yards and touchdowns. Whatever the rules are, I like the rules where I think they're too lenient a little bit, but when you get out of bounds, the clock should stop. That's part of the game. That's part of being rewarded for. That's also part of if you're up by 3 and you break a little run and the coach says don't run out of bounds because we want the clock to keep running. And then when you're it's part of the game. So I think there's other ways they could do it, but aren't they going to do on first down no matter what? The clock's going to run on a first down snap, and it can't stop.
Not inside 2 minutes, though.
Okay.
Not inside 2 minutes of the first and second halves. Pretty sure that's the rule change.
I like the running clock they used to have. I'm really digging, Phil, the baseball rule. If you're up 10, 7 innings, call it. I think they should do something like that, where if you're up 20 in the second half, run the clock. Just do a continuous clock. If you're up 20, you're up 30, whatever you want to say. I don't know. Once the game's going, if it's an incomplete pass, so. What about if the quarterback gets it and just spikes it on the ground? The clock's going to run unless it's under 2 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's an interesting thing you said though about like a mercy rule for college football, which I remember. I think you can still do that, but the coaches have to agree. When Arkansas played UAPB in Little Rock, the entire second half, the clock kept running.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, too, because that was ugly. That was
right.
That was not a lot of. I mean, it was fun to watch.
Man, when you have a change
of
possession, you'd stop the clock. You can call a timeout, things like that. But once the offense gets in there, you run. Just keep the clock running.
I mean, we're in this position where how games come to an end are changing in some ways in some other sports. The NBA is still, I think, considering messing around with that whole. What was it called? The rule where you're hitting a target score that they set.
Yeah,
the
and then the final they do that.
The ELAM ending, I think it's called.
They do it in the All-Star game where whatever the score is, then they have a whatever way they put it, but you got to get to 25 in the fourth, and then that's kind of the final number. Yeah. But if you're down by less, you might have to score 31. You kind of get those points, yeah.
Until this year, the only SEC baseball games that included a mercy rule or a run rule were the games in Hoover. And I think that was in order to make sure that the games didn't go so long that you wouldn't have a 3.5-hour blowout.
Well, and also if you're up 10 in the 7th inning, man, why you got another game the next day? Let's save our pitcher's arms. It doesn't make sense,
Well, as of right now, our games are still being played the way that they're being played. But I wonder if Major League Baseball at some point, I think that would probably be a step too far to include a mercy rule into professional sports. College sports, though, yeah, it's definitely a thing in baseball. It's an interesting idea for college football, too, man. Let's break. Wrap up hour number 1 after this.
The key to your heart, I can stop you falling apart. Try today, you'll finally swear. Come on and give me a chance to say, my love, open the door. It's all I'm living for. Release yourself from misery. There's only one thing gonna set you free. That's my love. That's my love. Let my love open the door.
Save hundreds of dollars on new and pre-owned Chevrolets right now at Road Chevrolet Van Buren. The recent severe weather brought hail to our vehicles, and that means savings for you. Take advantage of these savings now while they last only at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Our loss is your gain. These units gotta go. So get to Road Chevrolet now for the best selection. See dealer for details about inventory and savings. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren and RoadChevy.com. Prices you'll love. People you can trust.
The spring video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline.ag is your #1 source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL hockey, right down to UFC and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. Look.
A new day, a new way, and new eyes to see the Go your way, I'll go mine.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Matt Jones, Matt Travis. Matty, I think I know the answer for you. You guys like riding roller coasters?
Traditionally, I have. I'll tell you what, though, the last couple of years, I like them not as much as I used to. I just feel like the older I get, I don't know, I have more kind of a fear of, like, you always see the warning, it's like about, people with bad hearts and stuff. Just, I think probably closer to 40 I'm thinking is like, oh, God, do I really even want to take a chance with my ticker?
Whippersnapper Matty was all about them.
When I was a young, spry 30-something-year-old.
When you were a young snapper at Whippers.
Little spry.
What about you, Matt Jones? You
Man,
a roller coaster guy?
I figuratively and literally have outgrown them. I don't feel safe when I'm just too tall. My feet are either hanging off or my head's. I'm feeling it's just I don't think they're made for 6'6". I think they're made for 5'8".
You don't want to get decapitated by like a.
I don't want to go
beam
out
that's
that
a little
way,
long.
you know?
We were
Yeah.
always warned about one of the roller coasters at Kennywood outside Pittsburgh. Don't stand here because you know that it was the Thunderbolt. Don't stand here on the Thunderbolt because you know when you go through that tunnel, well, a guy stood up once. That was it.
That's all it took.
Yeah.
So we are going to Silver Dollar City this weekend, but it's like if we do a roll, it'll probably be like the Time Traveler one time, just for the experience. But as
just
far
to say that you
like,
did it.
But I used to maybe 5 years ago, I would ride the same roller coaster 4 or 5 times if the line wasn't too long. So
Well, I get on roller coasters and I scream my ever-loving head off, even though I might be a little worried that I might swallow a bumblebee or a wasp or something like that. But I
just saw another video yesterday. A bird crashed into some people on a roller coaster. And
yeah,
just
that's
like
where
that
I was.
pitch. Yeah.
That's where I was getting at. This is at Wonderland's Leviathan roller coaster in Canada, Toronto. A gentleman quoted saying, "I looked down and saw blood on my hands and my face. There was a feather on my hand and feathers on the girl next to me. It seemed the coaster hit the bird and a bird exploded on us." Oh my gosh! Now I've had a bug explode on the window jamb of the car that I was driving on the freeway like 15 years ago in Oklahoma. I don't know how big this bug was, but it was big enough with the window open that when it smashed into the window jamb.
You got some on you?
I didn't just have some on me, man. I looked like half my face looked like the Incredible Hulk. It was green all over, man. I'm reading this story and it just reminds me of that. It would get me to never go on a roller coaster again. The bugs on the roller coasters, I can deal with that. The exploding birds, I don't know. You'd have to pay me to get on that thing.
I even think about guys that ride motorcycles with no, something on their face. Don't you hit bugs out on the highway and stuff, or get a rock at your head?
They should set somebody.
Gotta have some protein.
They should set somebody up like American Gladiators with that little tennis ball where they're able to just fire it at folks, where you can fire it at
like
the birds.
A rocket launcher.
Yeah, nice. That should be the roller coaster.
That would be the thing that you could do with the roller coaster.
There we
since
go.
You can't fit in the car.
There we go.
Chuck Barrett joining halftime after this. Stay with us.
Right now, Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford is having a huge tire sale. Michelin, Goodyear, Bridgestone, all the major brands with the lowest price guarantee. Brakes, wheel alignment, oil change and maintenance, air conditioning, batteries, alternator, and so much more. At Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, we service all makes and models, and you never need an appointment. Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, where we meet or beat any advertised price. Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online 24/7 at randallford.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind everyone to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I'd also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify.
The homestead tax credit can save you up to $375 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. That's it. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red-hot values at any of our 4 locations. 1-gallon chlorine or 13.3-ounce pool shock, only $4.97. 10-pound triacicide granules, $7.99. And 2 cubic foot Miracle Grow Moisture Control potting mix, only $12.99 with your Ace Rewards card. Find more everyday low prices online at JaegersHardware.com. Jaeger's Ace Hardware, offering real service with real savings.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly sunny sky, a slight chance of seeing a shower or storm across the south. Or high today into the lower 80s. Tonight, an increase in the clouds, a few isolated showers or storms possible, overnight lows in the low 60s. And then partly to mostly sunny, a few showers or storms on Wednesday. Our high will be just over 80 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
When it comes to your auto repairs, call W&W Automotive at 242-1600.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! Turn that back, your
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Back on Halftime, right there in the middle of your day. It's good to be with you on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Matt Travis, and voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, on Halftime today. Chuck, how you doing? Happy Tuesday.
Well, happy Tuesday to you guys. I'm sorry I'm a little tardy today. I appreciate you.
Chuck, you're always on time, man.
Yeah, there
Never
you go.
late. Yeah,
there you go. He's already
That's well
kissing
said.
up.
Yeah, that's a guy who knows what it's like to talk to a coach when he might have been maybe a minute or two late.
Oh, you don't want to be late to coaches meeting. That's for sure. Yeah.
That's for sure. I've learned it the hard way. You know how some coaches are, Chuck. You know it too. They tell you 12 o'clock bus. They really mean be there at 11:55. Because Van Horn has told me before, if you're on time, you're late.
You only have to beat one guy, but you better beat him. And whatever time he gets on the bus, that's what time you're leaving. I'll tell you this. If you're on the basketball Razorbacks, if Muss says we're leaving at noon, I promise you that bus will roll by 11:35 to 11:40. You better be there. You better be 30 minutes early. If you're 20 minutes early, you've probably been left behind. And I can tell you, it doesn't matter who you are, you get left.
Me and my dad were going turkey hunting years ago. This is probably when I was in 7th grade, Chuck, and one of the assistant coaches wanted to go with us. And so my dad's like, all right, we'll meet at 4:30 at the spot, and then we're headed off to the land. We're going turkey hunting. It must have been 4:27. This is back, I'm in 7th grade. Everybody didn't have a text message flip phone. Once you say you're going to be somewhere, you're going to be somewhere. It was about 4:27, and he wasn't there. We left, and that you know what? You kind of learn your lesson at a young age. When the leader, when whoever says it's time to go, you got to be there, and it's time to go.
We had a baseball SID years ago. This was back in the 90s when Norm was still coaching. And we were going to play at Wichita State. You know, Phil, I mean, that's a long trip. It's, 5-6 hour bus ride. And I think we were going to leave at, 9 o'clock in the morning. And this guy showed up at like 8:40, and the bus was gone. And so he had to drive all the way to Wichita that day, drive all the way home when it was over. And, again, you've only got to beat one guy, but you better beat him. Because if he's on the bus and you're not, you're late.
Well, and it's like, what else are you thinking about? This
That's
is our
right.
one mission. Chuck, and that'll make the coach just as mad as anything when you're lollygagging or tomfoolery around when it's game day, man. It's a business trip.
Well, I'm sure it's really this way for players. And, Phil, you know this. For us, I mean, particularly if you've got a night game, all you do is just sitting around getting antsy all day long. And so – hey, the sooner we leave, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I can tell you on basketball trips, I will admit when I was younger, I was not always one of the first 3 or 4 guys on the bus, but I generally am now because I'm old and impatient and ready to go.
Man, Chuck, you bring up Wichita. The first time I traveled with the Travelers, they left me behind, and it was at the Wichita State Ballpark because the ballpark downtown, Lawrence Dumont Stadium, had flooded, and they couldn't play the game there. So we had a 9 o'clock morning game at X Stadium, and they left me there. It's not like I was late or anything like that. Mike Brumley was the manager, and he apologized to me profusely later on that night. I felt worse for him because the Wichita Eagle writer just gave me a ride back. But I learned, man, it's like that is one of my goals. And I'm rarely on the bus with the baseball team because I usually travel on my own. With the women's basketball team, I'm with them. Don't ever be the last one on the bus. It's not a matter of don't get left. Don't have them waiting for you. Never. That's the last thing I want.
Well, it's always a race, and anybody that's ever worked with me knows as soon as the final horn sounds, I'm ready to get out of there. It can't happen soon enough. I am the champion of the short postgame show because I'm ready to go. It's funny on the football trips, we'll tape the coach's television program, after everything's said and done. And so I'm usually the last one on the last bus on the football trips, which I don't like, but it's just, circumstances are what they are. But, sometimes you just have a feel, and that's kind of how you survive doing what we do, Phil. You know this. You can be the best play-by-play guy in the world, but if you make them hold the bus or the plane on you a couple of times, you're out. And, that stuff's important in maneuvering your way through and surviving. Don't be late.
The people you count on for information, the people you count on for those relationships that part of this job is about, they will remember those things. And it's like when I filled in for you a couple of times on the road, I was on the bus. And truthfully, I was intimidated by Dave Van Horn because he can be like that. He just doesn't show a lot of emotion. He can be a little stern, and I think sometimes people feel like they have to earn his trust. You do with most people. But I was intimidated by Dave at first, and it took until really doing it full time for about a season before I finally developed a comfort with him and felt like I started to get to know him a little bit. But, he's one of those people, like, from the outside looking in, people think he's, a martinet and joyless sometimes. But he's not like that at all. It just takes a little time to get through.
Well, he's a pro. He's a professional. He understands everybody's got a job to do. I can remember when Dave was hired, 20-something years ago. First time I sat down with him, just kind of, I wanted to visit with him, and I'm sure he was sizing me up more than that. And I can remember asking him about how he handled postgame. And I guess he knew what I was driving at. He said, I'm not going to leave you. But, he said, you know how it is after games. And you guys know, I'm, Matt better than anyone, but Phil's been in this spot. I mean, nobody's happy after you lose, and nobody's going to – they're not going to, saddle up to you and chit-chat about what just happened. I mean, everybody does what they got to do, and you understand that your job is to take care of your business because it's time to go. And that's just kind of how it works. But, yeah, I can remember I was a lot younger then. I was paranoid about being left. These were pre-Uber days. And I don't know how it is now, but I can tell you back then, the athletic department, if you inquired about renting a car, the answer was a flat no. And so if you got left, you were on your own to find your way back, and I didn't ever want to deal with that.
Yeah, I never had a budget for rental cars with the Travelers either. Go figure. You mentioned your first impression of the first time you spoke with Dave Van Horn. This was 21 years ago. This is his 21st season. And we know the soundbite from the press conference of that he's here to win national championships, and he was referring to multiple national championships. And I think Dave's changed, everybody's changed in a 21-year period. What was your initial impression of Dave Van Horn as the hire to replace Norm DeBrine?
Well, I think, really, if you'd been around the program, you knew for a couple of years it was probably going to happen. He brought Nebraska here in 2000. And played a 2-game midweek series. And, I mean, kicked us around pretty good, to be honest. That Dave, I think, would tell you that was still his best Nebraska team, and they didn't make it to Omaha. They lost to Stanford in the Supers. But that was a really good team. And I remember that Coach Broyles never came to baseball games unless, like, Barry Lenny was pitching. If Matt Jones had played baseball, he'd come to watch him. But he didn't come to baseball games unless football players were playing. But when Nebraska came to town, he came up and sat in the hog heaven seats. Wasn't like it is now. I mean, it wasn't full. Coach Broyles kind of sat up there by himself. But he watched pretty much every inning of that entire series. And when he walked out, it didn't need to be said. I mean, everybody knew. When Norm decides to retire, they're going to do whatever they got to do to bring Dave back. And, here's the thing about Dave Van Horn. He's had multiple opportunities to leave. Look at what guys are getting paid. I read something yesterday about how much SEC baseball coaches were getting paid. Look at what Dave's making compared to what he's won. It's unbelievable. And look at what some of the other guys are making compared to what they've not won. And so he's wanted to be a Razorback. He's wanted to be a Razorback from the first day he played baseball here. And all roads led back to Fayetteville. I can remember Norm scheduling him when he was at Northwestern State in Natchitoches, Louisiana. If memory serves me correctly, we had to win by a run in extra innings. And, everybody knew he was going to be the guy, and everybody knew he wanted to be the guy. And, Norm tells that story about the day he went into Coach Broyles and said, I think I'm going to hang it up. First thing Coach Broyles said was, do you think we can get Van Horn? And Norm said, yes, I think we can get Van Horn.
Chuck,
so the rest is history.
It's in this day and age to be at a program for 20-plus years is extremely rare. And if I was to put one word, and you guys, both you guys know Dave Van Horn better than I do, but if I was to put one word on it and why he's able to have success and be here, is consistency. And I didn't know what you guys had for the reason why he's able to be here for 20-plus years. You look around college landscape, and that doesn't happen a lot.
Well, Phil knows better than anybody now. I mean, he's in his 9th year. I will say that every season that I was around him, his approach was exactly the same. And from afar, it appears as though it's still that way now. And I can't imagine that it's not. I mean, Dave still has the hunger to win of a guy 20 years his junior. And a lot of guys, when they're in their early 60s, they're figuring out where they're going to retire. I'm going to sign one more contract, and then I'm done. You can still see he's still the winning edge. And, I've always believed a great head coach is the winning edge. And I think he's been the winning edge from the day he walked on this campus, and I think he'll be the winning edge until the day he leaves. It's really interesting. Phil, you may have, and I don't know how long you're going to do this, but you may do your entire career of Razorback baseball with only one head coach. You think about where we are 54 years into Norm DeBryan and Dave Van Horn. That's about as remarkable as it gets in this day and age.
You're not kidding, and man, I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, and they're on their third coach in the same time frame, and that's viewed as something that's amazing in that sport. It's incredible in college sports to have just two guys during that time, and for the second one to be more successful, which is amazing because Norm was an incredibly successful coach. The thing about Dave that stands out to me, Chuck, is that he's a really intelligent person, but he also doesn't think he's got all the answers. That's why he hires really smart people. I think one of the strengths that Dave has is he knows how to hire people. And I think that also goes into the recruiting, too. It's who you want around you, whether it's player or coach. But I think I've been here for 9 years, and it's been 4 different assistant coaches, and that's it. But even looking back before that, with Coach Butler and Coach Jorn and some of the other coaches that have come through, he's always hired well, and he's intelligent enough and secure in his own intelligence to think that he doesn't have all the answers, and let the guys that you hire do what you hired them for. I think that really stands out about him.
Yeah, I can't really add anything to that. I mean, I think you're exactly right. He knows what he's doing. He's got the magic touch, and as I said, he's been the winning edge here for a long time.
We got Chuck for another segment. You can call us. You can text us, 877-377-6963. We'll come right back on halftime.
Who's gonna pay attention to your dreams? Yeah, who's gonna plug their ears
Need free legal advice? Listen to Coffee with Counsel with Kevin Hickey and Brad Hall on the Hit That Line podcast network.
Some judges pretty much don't let the parents even introduce their own evidence. It's just about questioning the witness of the department because the only thing they're looking for is whether probable cause existed to sign that emergency order. Parents feel so deflated after these hearings usually, and it's really hard to explain that this is just the nature of the hearing. It's not the full hearing on the merits.
For more information, go to hickeyandhull.com.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot, now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands, with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
This is Matt Blaylock for Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. For 40 years, we've had the honor and privilege of serving the River Valley. Thank you to all the great customers, contractors, distributors, friends, and family that we've had the opportunity to build lasting relationships with over the past 4 decades. A lot has changed since 1983, but our commitment to providing the highest quality service, sales, and products has not. To get a red truck rolling your way, just give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
It's Old Fort Days Rodeo time, and Jelco Outdoors, your locally owned work in Western boot store, is ready to help you go in style with a new pair of cowboy boots for men, women, and children. Brands like Justin, Tony Lama, Corral, R. Watson, Durango, Ariat, Twisted X, Rocky, and Nakona. Blue jeans by Ariat and Wrangler. And stop by the Jelco booth starting Memorial Day, just outside the Old Fort Days Rodeo at Harper Stadium. Let's get ready to rodeo at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind everyone to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I'd also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify.
The homestead tax credit can save you up to $375 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor.
Are you needing new tires? Are you short on cash? Van Alma Tire can help you get back on the road. Come by Van Alma Tire and apply for caffeine. It only takes minutes to get approved, and you can get the tire or the service you need to get your vehicle back on the road. Top-of-the-line tires, brake service, and more. Van Alma Tire is here to help you. Located on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Must be 18 or older. Valid ID. Active checking account and income at least $1,000 per month.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, our members are at the very heart of our mission. That's why this Military Appreciation Month, we thought you might want to hear a special thank you message from your friends and family.
I want to give a shout out to my brother Will, who's currently serving as a major in the Army. Happy Military Appreciation Month.
Hi, I'm wishing my pops, retired Colonel Stephen Sheehan of the United States Marine Corps, a happy Military Appreciation Month.
And from all of us here, happy Military Appreciation Month. Commitment connects us. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
There is nothing like football game days on the Hill. Coach Sam Pittman and the Hogs take Frank Broyles Field at Razorback Stadium for the 2023 football season this September.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
All the Hogs with your entire family and secure season tickets today at ArkansasRazorbacks.com or over the phone at 800-982-HOGS.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
What would I give for just a few moments? What would I give just to have you near? Tell me you will try to slip away somehow. Oh, I need you, darling. I want to see you right now. Can you slip away? Slip away. Slip away. Oh, I need you so.
Your You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, we've got voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us on Halftime. Got a couple of callers lined up, so let's get to them. Charlie, appreciate you, Charlie. Good to hear from you. What's going on today?
What's going on, Phil? You know, when I listen to you and I listen to Chuck call games, you know, I enjoy you both. And, you know, I have people up here at work that, you know, I've been called Chuck myself. You know, that's a nickname that's thrown at me. I get all these kind of nicknames, and I'm like, would you please stop calling me that? Because Chuck Barrett's too great for that. He is the greatest.
You flatter me now. You flatter me.
You can't put me on his level. And don't call, you know, Tuna. I like Tuna. You know, I'm a Bill Parcells fan too, so it's like I know he was called that, and I'll take that. But you know, anyway, besides all that, Phil, I'm so excited about this baseball team, as I've told you, and really hoping they can pull this thing off and make a run here. We don't know what's going to happen, but I just want it more so because I get so tired of people on Twitter saying DVH can't win the big one. It's so stupid. It's ignorant, and you know, I get it. You say that, but well, you're just saying, well, he hadn't done it yet. Doesn't mean he can't. He just hasn't yet. And it brings me to another point. Matt, I know you saw what LeBron did last night. And a lot of times I think about great players that haven't won a championship or that have, and in any sport. You think about guys at that age doing what he did last night. To be honest with you, Matt, and I like AD. He's great. But AD should have been Batman of that team probably 2 or 3 years ago. LeBron is to a point now where, and we saw the quote last night. I don't know if that's a hint at retirement. I think it's a consideration. And if he retires and hangs it up, you know, I don't understand why people can't just appreciate greatness sometimes, because when it's gone, it's gone. And you're not gonna. It's gone. You're not gonna. And instead, we have to sit here and hate on guys. And, any guy like you know, Matt. You've talked about Damian Lillard being one of your faves. I love his game. Has he won a championship yet? No, but it does not take away his greatness. And I just get tired of people arguing that. Dave Van Horn is arguably one of the best coaches in college baseball. I don't care that he hasn't won a championship yet. I mean, I care, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. I'm really hoping this is the year.
Your point is well taken, and they're set up definitely to hopefully this be another year to get to Omaha. Once you get there, sometimes, it's a matter of who you're stacked up against. You might meet a hot pitcher. That's the nature of this sport. That's what I felt happened in 2019. You ran up against a pitcher at Florida State that just was you couldn't get a hit against. But look, I mean, the Coach of the Year award in college baseball nationally is named for a guy who never won a national title, Mike Martin. That didn't deteriorate his greatness either. So as far as LeBron, he's a polarizing player, but I felt like it was the decision that did that. And then there have been some social stands afterwards that might have led to that as well. And then there's always that. The debate, the LeBron or MJ debate, and it feels like that's become a little bit tired. I like to appreciate people's greatness, and I don't think he's done yet. I think he's going to give it another go. I just think that was a basketball player that was tired and was ready for the season to end, and I don't think he's ready for his career to end.
No, I think he wants to play with the son in the NBA and play game. I think he just needs to really the load management thing at the end of his career. There's no reason he needs to be playing 68 regular season games a year, and maybe not even get him there till February. Although he's due $47 million this year and $50 the next, so he's still on there for $97 million. But speaking of basketball, I got to give Chuck a tip of the hat, man. We were talking last week about what we thought. And Chuck took the heat. He said he even could have the heat in 5. Chuck, the heat. Jimmy Buckets is getting it done.
Miami's playing great. I mean, they really are. And the Celtics, they're a great team too. But Miami just steamrolled them. And I'm telling you, I think Denver, that's going to be a great series. I mean, that is going to be – it's not the marquee matchup that I'm sure, everybody wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the Celtics and the Lakers and all that. You're not going to be able to have Bird and Magic on talking about the good old days. But, hey, these are the two best teams. There's no doubt about that. I mean, these are the two best teams left standing.
I do want to get your thoughts, Chuck. I think Carmelo Anthony's a no-doubter Hall of Famer. He played for your New York Knickerbockers for a little bit and had a lot of success, but the front office was so messed up during those years, it seemed like. They couldn't find out, they couldn't tell their head from their butt. They were just such a mess, and Carmelo was kind of the only good thing they had going for a little bit. What's some of your Carmelo memories? Do you think he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer?
I think he is a first-ballot Hall of Famer, and I think he will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Anybody that played for the Knicks, or anybody that has played for the Knicks, frankly, since Patrick Ewing until maybe this year, last year, I mean, they were playing on a team that was not going to do a whole lot in terms of threatening for a championship. There were lots of times I watched Carmelo play, and I thought he shot too much. I'm not going to lie about that. There were times he did some things on the floor that he shouldn't have done. But he's a great player. And, we live in an era now, and it kind of goes back to this conversation about Van Horn a minute ago, where if you don't win a ring, you weren't a great player. And that's ridiculous. Charles Barkley was a great player. Dan Marino was a great player. There have been lots of players who didn't win world championships in all sports who were great players and first-ballot Hall of Famers. And, you can make a case for lots of people being the GOAT. Some guys came along after mass marketing hit, and the guys that came before him didn't get to benefit from all that. So, sure, he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. But he just didn't win a lot of games because he played on a lot of bad teams.
Here we got John in Fayetteville on hold. Let's take John's call, guys. Hey, John, appreciate you calling. What's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. When I think of Dave, I think of class. What an ambassador for the state. I mean, the guy just brings it, class every time, and wins and losses. And we're just so lucky to have him. And I'm going to switch gears. There's an article out today in SI on Ron Holland, talking a little bit basketball. And Matt, I hate Texas more than probably Clay does growing up here. But there's an article today that it's we're in a win-win situation with Texas, as petty as they always are. They are trying to hold him hostage or keep his commitment. And we're going to win either way because he can't go to any other university if they keep doing this. And if we don't get him, nobody else will, so he'll have to go to the G League. But in the long run, Texas is shooting themselves in the foot. It goes on to say, by advertising to these recruits that they're going to do this and if hold them hostage. And Matt, I don't know what some of your greatest wins were, but as much as I hate Texas, that win in Austin probably goes down in my book as one of the greatest.
Oh, absolutely.
John, thanks. Good to hear from you, John.
That was a great win. And don't you think, Phil and Chuck, Texas is just messing with us? Like they know that Ron Holland wants to come play for Coach Muss and play for Arkansas, probably Coach Muss more than Arkansas, and have a chance to win a national title, and they just kind of messing with us a little bit.
It feels to me like they just don't want to play college basketball unless he's going to be at Texas. They're just going to force his hand to send him to the G League.
They'll end up backing down. They're taking a stand right now and trying.
It's a terrible look for them, isn't it?
The only thing I could think of, and I don't believe this is going to happen, but is Texas hoping that at some point the SEC, or maybe now, the SEC would say, well, we're not going to let you transfer within the league, and then, Texas is in the league, and they try to raise that flag. But to me, that's the longest shot there is out there, and I don't even know if that's part of their thinking. I just think they're being Texas, and but they'll end up backing down.
Well, I hope so, because I don't think it's not a good look for Texas to be holding on to this in a day where there's much more player freedom, and the kid wasn't even part of their program yet. I know he signed, but I mean he was never there. So
they're playing to their crowd right now. They're playing to their crowd on this. But they know that ultimately, if he doesn't want to play for Texas, he's not going to play for Texas.
Chuck, we'll leave it there. Always appreciate you on these Tuesdays.
All right, guys, thank you.
Have
a good day.
Thanks, Chuck.
You got it. It's Chuck Barrett, voice of the Razorbacks, with us every Tuesday on Halftime. By this time tomorrow, the Razorbacks should be about ready for first pitch against either Tennessee or the A&M Aggies. If you want to enjoy the game and enjoy some half-price apps and half-price taps during the game, well, get to lunch at Joe's Grilling Cantina tomorrow. They're going to have that going on. And their Wednesday specials, in fact, are half-price apps and half-price taps anyway. Today it's Taco Tuesday, so get over there for $1 crispy beef or chicken tacos all day long. That's Joe's Grilling Cantina, 3400 South 74th in Fort Smith, right across from Harps. They're open Tuesday through Saturday. joesfortsmith.com, the website, or download the Waiter app and put an order on in there. Clay Henry to join Halftime after the break, and we'll be right back.
Gonna take away my energy with all of your job talking, telling me lies, good loving, so that's in my eyes. Nobody will believe what you say.
ESPN Arkansas and Phil Elson are live in Hoover, Alabama at the 2023 SEC Baseball Tournament. Our coverage is presented by Resort TV Cable in Hot Springs. Sign up in May and we'll double your speeds by June 1st. By Beckert. Beckert's and Van Buren is now hiring for junior electrical project engineer and electrical engineer positions. And by the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, with over $1.2 billion in scholarships raised for Arkansas students.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Hey, crazy month last month. Mitch making us take all that money off them trucks.
Oh, Ryan, Mitch said $8,000 off.
Man, maybe this month will be a lot smoother. Gosh.
Hey, guys, I got an idea to make it $10,000 off this month.
How?
We need extra trade-ins, right? With $2,000 trade-in incentives, you get $10,000 off all new 23 Ram Bighorn trucks in stock. If you don't believe us, make that beautiful drive right here to Heber Springs during the Memorial Day sales event.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Happy times are almost here for Booneville. That amazing fast internet from Wave Rural Connect is coming soon. Arkansas Valley Electric members on feeders 1, 3, 5, and 8 will be available to sign up May 8th. These are internet speeds normally reserved for big cities, but available in the Booneville area, along with TV and phone service from a local provider. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Looking for a piece of equipment? Head on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore their latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer and Cinnabogan authorized service provider. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need complete, at Sharp Equipment, they help you move more than just the world. They help you move forward. From excavators to powerful skid steers, Sharps can find the right equipment for your needs. See Sharp Equipment located in Central Hydraulic at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or call 479-242-1406.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
When a hailstorm comes to the River Valley, homeowners have doubts on what roofing company to deal with. That's why it's better to contact the experts that are local. That company is Construction Masters Roofing, a locally owned company that's ready to change the roof on your home. Construction Masters Roofing is insured and local, specializing in hail claims and replacing windows, siding, and gutters. Construction Masters Roofing, located at 225 North Greenwood Avenue in Fort Smith. Call for a free estimate, 479-648-8888 or 918-859-4724.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Clay Henry's with us for the remainder of the show. Clay, how's your Tuesday going up by the Norfolk today?
I'm doing great, guys. Just ready for some baseball. I bet you are too.
I am.
We're to the good part of the year, Phil.
Well, this is a different part of the year, and I've kind of referred to, and it's different year by year. It all depends on what you go into the conference tournament feeling you need to do. It's not regular season, but I don't view this as postseason. It's like limbo season.
Well, to me, it is a chance. Okay, we need to find one more pitcher, and we need to see if we can get some guys tuned up and get them some extra ABs. Josenberger needs some ABs. Wagner needs some
Wagner
ABs.
Needs them too. He does. I think John Bolton needs some rest. I don't think he'll play while the team is here. So having a week until really it'll be 2 weeks from when he twisted that ankle in that weird collision to when they would need him to play again. And like tomorrow's game, the importance tomorrow. Yeah, you want to win, I think, but the pitchers that will go tomorrow are guys that haven't pitched very much in the last few weeks, and they're pitchers that you might need in a regional in case it goes to 4 or a 5th game. So, Dave said in the media Zoom this morning before the show that they were pretty sure who it was they wanted to start, but weren't ready to announce it until they just checked on a couple of things at the team's workout this afternoon, which I'm assuming was at Stanford University. I'd be surprised if it's not Ben Bybee, just because he's got the ball on Sundays as a starter a couple of times, in relief on Sundays in some moments, and then I think you'll see the other pitchers that you haven't seen much of.
Christian Fouch.
Yes, I think Fouch is a guy they want to get going. Coyle, I wouldn't be surprised if Coyle pitches tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And Austin Ledbetter. But it's none of the, quote-unquote frontline pitchers. Hagen Smith will start Thursday, and that's good. That'll be a week's rest. And I think what you want to do with the other pitchers is to keep them on their normal work schedule so that they can do the same going into the regional and feel that they're on schedule.
Yeah, I like all that. And don't overwork your catcher. Let them both catch.
Yeah, nobody needs to be overworked. That's the great thing about what they've done in the regular season, is that they've put themselves in a position where they don't really have to worry about very much right now, except, just
they're already hanging the banners. Yeah.
Just be careful crossing the street. That's the feeling here. It's like
keep everybody healthy. Let's make a run.
So the tournament can help or hurt you, and I say that because, it was 2 years ago that they lost they lost Brady Slavens for 3 weeks, and he wasn't the same. But I think they thought he broke his ankle, but it was just a sprain. That was 2 years ago, wasn't it, Phil?
Yeah, that was 21.
Yeah.
It was a pretty bad sprain. I remember,
and that was a critical point of the year.
Sure was.
And he was rolling when that happened.
He was crushing it, and I remember, and it was a day like this with rain, and so the base was a little bit slick, and he's running up the baseline and lunges to get his right foot there, and he slipped on it. It could have happened to anybody else in the tournament at that moment, but it happened to Brady Slavens. So I felt like that kind of fed the beast of fatalism for a fan base that's almost expecting something bad to happen, and it did.
Bad karma.
That's what you saw with the John Bolton collision with Peyton Holt. For a moment I thought both of them were hurt, but Bolton's injury I don't think is anywhere close to the severity that Slavin's sprained ankle was. Hey, we got Greg on hold. Let's take the call. Anybody wants to call or text, our number is 877-377-6963. Greg, what's going on? You're on halftime.
What's up, guys? Hey, okay. You were talking about Kyrie Irving and the Lakers, everything earlier in this show. I don't wish Kyrie Irving on anybody. As much as I want him out of Dallas, I don't want him anywhere. Okay.
Is it his locker? Is it his locker room feel, or is it his the way he plays the game? What's the biggest drawback you have against him?
Locker room.
Yeah, locker room guy.
Locker room. Van Horn, I don't think any other coach in the nation could have done the job Van Horn has done this season with dealing with the injuries and all that stuff. So, Van Horn forever. And, that's really all I got today. Those were the two main things I was wanting to talk about. Oklahoma, Texas, they need to enjoy their last few moments in the sun, because right now they're big fishes in a little pond, and they're about to come to an ocean full of great white sharks. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's well said, Greg. Thank you. Thank you very much, Greg. Yeah, that'll be an interesting deal with them this next year.
They know it too.
Year.
They know it.
I'm sure they do. How can't you? It's been look.
Lincoln Riley knew it, didn't he?
Well, that's right. Well, the crazy thing is, so A&M and Missouri joined the league. Missouri initially had success by winning the East Division in back-to-back years, and since then they've been a middling program. They were really good under Pinkel, and they kind of continued here for those first 2 years. A&M, man, just this has not been, I think, what the Aggies would have expected coming into the SEC, or maybe it was. Maybe they knew that coming in here would separate them from Texas and get them some more money, but it might be really difficult to boost the number of wins. You try to do it with a couple of coaches, it hasn't worked with either of them.
I think more than anything for A&M, they wanted to say, I won't say it, but just go to blank to Texas. That's what they wanted. This kind of coming full circle with Texas and the SEC, they didn't like that at all. They didn't, but they were 13-1. That is what the SEC is. It's one vote for one school. And that's the problem with it, but it's also the beauty of it. And as much as Texas A&M does not like that Texas came in, they now know that Texas has just one vote. And that's all they ever really wanted in the first place. They did not want Texas, throwing their weight around to Rice, TCU, SMU, Baylor, and Texas Tech. And they had no choice. They had to have Texas. Texas A&M didn't, and they showed that. But they, I think it has been tough for them to swallow Texas A&M is a different place. It is not like
Sure
any
is.
other place in the world.
Well, they have a different alumni base than I've experienced in
question.
my time in college sports, that's for sure. The town's a little bit different. And too much maroon, yeah. I mean, I got a thing with maroon. I don't know.
Well,
Eddie. Hey, Eddie. Eduardo has given us a call, guys. Turn that radio down for a moment. You don't have to be hair on fire this week, Eddie. We're going to celebrate Dave Van Horn winning Coach of the Year, but this team is here to try to not use all the energy up before the start of the SEC, before the start of the NCAA tournament. Callers have to do the same thing. So you might have to dial it just a little bit. Just dial it down a little bit today. How you doing?
Man, I'm still feeling good. Tough series loss at Vanderbilt. But you know what? Down the stretch, what were we, 9 of 12? And, it's just one heavyweight after one heavyweight. In the conference of heavyweight baseball teams in America, I mean, what can you say? The job that Coach Van Horn, as I said last week, probably one of the most consistent coaches in all of college sports. And so, especially the last half dozen years, and I'm just proud that he's the skipper, the conductor of the baseball hall train, and there's no better, I mean, without a doubt, could another coach in the country done the job Coach Van, with all the injuries. When you talk about the teams in this conference this year, I mean, hats off to Coach Van, hats off to the whole team. And I'm really, you know what, I'm just enjoying the ride. As I said, I made a comment last week. For the fan base, I've been around a while. I've been on the hot train. I'm always blowing the wheel. I'm always optimistic. And I just, all that matters as you get older is the ride. And you can bet Coach Van Horn, this team is not derailed. By the contrary, they're just getting ready. And then what more can you do? I mean, SEC co-champions, SEC Western Division champions, and who knows? You might be SEC tournament champions. Just have to see how it goes.
That's exactly right,
I'm
Eddie.
just enjoying the ride, gentlemen.
I'm enjoying the ride too, and I'm enjoying hearing you. Is this Eddie? Is this Eduardo in Clarksville that just called here? You sound different, Eddie, but I know it's you because you started to get just a little bit fired up.
Well,
there
sometimes it just comes bubbling out of me. You know what I mean? Especially when we're winning.
Eduardo, this to me sounds like you could actually be like a smooth jazz DJ here for a moment if you ever thought about it. Like, wow. Can you introduce a Kenny G song for our listeners? I'm joking, but I got to tell you, I appreciate you dialing down for a little because that's what this week is all about, conserving energy. You call next week, next Wednesday, yeah, we're ready for the nuclear explosion.
The difference today was that Eddie's always like champagne. Sometimes you shake it up and it just goes everywhere. Today we didn't shake it up. We just had a little gentle pop.
And it was, and he is still always. He's
still champagne.
He is always effervescent. Effervescent
Yep.
Eduardo. We have a new nickname for him. Stay with us. Halftime concludes the second hour next.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese. He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe in a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline.ag is your #1 source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL hockey, right down to UFC and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Jenny, who can I turn to? You give me something I can hold on to. I know you think I'm like the others before, who saw your name and number on the wall. Danny, I got your number. I need to make you mine. Danny, don't change your number. 8675309. 8675309.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I'm in Hoover. I want to thank our friends at Resort TV Cable in Hot Springs for sponsoring ESPN Arkansas's coverage of the SEC tournament in Hoover. You can switch to Cable Links broadband and boost your internet. Plus, give your wallet a break. If you sign up before the end of May, Cable Links will double your speeds. That's Cable Links, thanks to Resort TV Cable in Hot Springs. Clay Henry's with us, and there is some news that broke about 13 minutes ago from John Rothstein, who covers college basketball for CBS Sports, and it does involve Ron Holland. He has been released from his national letter of intent by the University of Texas. So hey, all it took was Chuck Barrett saying, I expect that it's sometime they're going to release him. They're not going to hold on to it forever. He said that earlier in the hour. Now it's happened. And Holland apparently is going to be visiting the G League Ignite today in Las Vegas. So there you go. A little breaking news for you here in the middle of halftime.
How far away is he going to the NBA draft? Like, what is his projection? Because if he's a first-round pick, why isn't he going this year? You know, if does he still?
Because he can't.
Because he can't because the rules don't allow him to go.
He's a high school player, yeah.
Oh, he's in high school this year. All right.
Yeah,
fair enough.
He's top high school player in the country. Might have been a draftee if he was eligible for it. But I mean, he's a one and done. It's what it appears. Just like Nick Smith when he came in as the top recruit in the country. So now you're battling professional basketball. You're still battling professional basketball to get him to come to Arkansas for the 1 year, because you can do your 1 year either with the Razorbacks or with the G League Ignite. And it's like you've said before, Matt, what do you want to do? You want to play in front of 18, 19,000 screaming fans, or do you want to play in front of a couple of hundred people and a television audience that might be watching on NBA TV?
That, and I don't want to owe any money back. You know, I don't want my agent saying, hey, here's $200,000 for this is your NIL deal, but you got to pay me back whenever you sign your NBA deal. I'd rather go to the Arkansas and have them pay me money and not have to, you know, like there's different ways around it. It's not all about getting your money so quick, you know, it's doing it the right way. There's no reason he should have to owe anybody. You know, that there's no reason a college athlete should be taking out loans for people, you know, unless it's your family emergency or something. But if you're going to get that money in 18 months, it's okay. It's okay to wait 18 months until you get that. Don't already start having to owe people money back.
Now we got an interesting watch now. Yeah, everybody says he's going to end up at Arkansas, but it ain't over yet.
No, it isn't over yet. Now it's like hey, this stuff has to happen pretty quickly for the young man. Pretty quickly, also for Arkansas, because I mean, sometime in the next few days, because then now the announcements of players pulling their name out of the draft are coming out. Charles Bediako of Alabama staying in the draft. Tremont Mark now at Arkansas, pulling his name out of the draft. Waiting on Jordan Walsh, and waiting to hear a little more about Devo Davis from Devo, because it was a couple weeks ago he said that there'd be a decision soon. Soon is all a matter of, you know, in the mind of the person who said it.
I think it's been soon. I think it's time.
I think it's time too. Agreed. I also think it's time to break, because we're at the top of the hour and into hour number 3. So call or text at 877-377-6963. Halftime is right back.
Summer is finally here, and with it comes the heat. Don't get caught off guard with a broken AC unit. Upgrade now with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric to ensure a comfortable and cool summer. Get a new AC system before May 31st, and you'll receive a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. That's right, free. That's a value of over $1,000.
Thank you for choosing Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. We'll take care of everything so you can enjoy a worry-free summer.
Upgrade your AC today and get a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. Offer ends May 31st. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
This is Mark at WW Automotive. If spring fever has you planning road trips and weekend excursions, stop by WW first and let us make sure your vehicle is travel ready. We service all makes and models, foreign or domestic, offer everything from routine maintenance to major repairs. Front ends, alignments, AC systems. Come see us just off of Townsend on South O and Fort Smith. Or call me or Kelly at 242-1600. That's WW Automotive, a bumper-to-bumper certified shop.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Honey, I found a great new house for us to buy. Look at the photos.
Yeah? Who's gonna clean that big house?
We'll hire a housekeeper.
And who's gonna mow all that grass?
I will, on the weekends.
And who will get the kids to school?
We'll start a neighborhood carpool.
You thought of everything, didn't you?
Yep.
Except, who's gonna sell this house we're living in now?
Nick and Ellie Glidewell. NickandEllie.com. Equal housing opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
What makes a meal magical? Maybe it's coming home to smiling faces and the aroma of the grill. Maybe magic is the moment you finally get the secret ingredient to Mom's signature mac and cheese. Who knows, magic might just be as simple as meeting up with a friend to share a number 2 with fries and extra ketchup. One thing's for certain, magic shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. All it takes is mixing the right ingredients, good company, great food, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. And then, voila! You'll have a recipe for magic.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly sunny sky, a slight chance of seeing a shower or storm across the south. Our high today into the lower 80s. Tonight, an increase in the clouds, a few isolated showers or storms possible, overnight lows in the low 60s. And then partly to mostly sunny, a few showers or storms on Wednesday. Our high will be just over 80 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
When it comes to your auto repairs, call W&W Automotive at 242-1600.
KERX, Paris Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, he lets fly with a shot.
From the Busch Light Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! On 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, beautiful!
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, they're playing in rain again. Yeah, you can deal with the rain because the field here in Hoover drains just fine. Tennessee and A&M in the top of the second with a 0-0 score. It is raining in Hoover, but there's no lightning, and that's really the thing that can throw a monkey wrench into it. Rest of the week seems clear, so once this rain stops in about an hour or so, I think we're good for the rest of the week. Though, as they'll like to tell you, is there any place that they don't say this? As soon as you think you know what the weather's going to look like, wait an hour and it'll be different. I hear that everywhere I go. Arkansas, Texas, Alabama, Pennsylvania, whatever.
Arkansas, where I'm living right now, here in about 2 weeks, you're going to have about 112 days in a row where it's exactly the same thing. It's 79 degrees at night, here. It's the same thing that's every single day.
It's the if this is limbo baseball season, then what you're describing is don't leave anything in the car season.
Oh my goodness, man! You don't even want to go outside. It's so hot in the summertime in the afternoon here.
It's the most miserable thing to try to do, and we all have the little sunshades that go in the car, right? Especially if you're doing a midday show and you might walk out afterwards to get in that truck. Yeah, ugh, nastiness. Cody Adcock will be the starting pitcher for Arkansas tomorrow. Dave Van Horn. Well, I think it's a tweet because they already had the media session this morning. So I guessed it was going to be Ben Bybee, and instead it's Adcock. So that's another pitcher I know that they'd like to get going, and truthfully, and I'm not looking at his numbers right now. I'm just going by what I've seen from him this year. Cody Adcock, maybe more than any other pitcher, the numbers don't match the stuff. He's got the kind of stuff: fastball, curveball, cutter, changeup, and the body type to be a dominant front-line SEC starting pitcher, and I think that's what he was brought here to do. But it hasn't. I mean, he shows glimpses. In the last series, Clay. I mean, he faces two batters in Vanderbilt on that disastrous 8th inning on Friday. Couldn't put a guy away. 0-2, walks him with bases loaded, and then a 2-run single, pull him out. And then pitches on Saturday, 2 no-hit innings. It's the nature of the sport, but that's a pitcher that really could could be dominant for this team. So I think it's important for him tomorrow to at least have a good outing and get a little confidence going into whatever's next.
When he walks on the mound and you look at him, 6'5", 6'4", whatever he is, and he lets go one of those 96, but he leaves it in the middle of the plate too much. Mm-hmm. And then he nibbles, and it's, like, well, that looks like a strike, but it's 2 inches off. And because it's 2 inches off too many times, he doesn't get the benefit. I think more than any other pitcher, Cody would have benefited, go back 4 years in SEC play. And the reason I say that is the umpires have gotten so tight in their zones, and it's because of TrackMan, is that, that they know that you and Bubba and the guys in the other radio and the other TV booth, they say, well, that's off the plate. And they're, that pitch used to be a strike because they wanted to get those games finished. And now they've got the pitch clock and it speeds up everything. So now it's ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. And you think, well, those were really good pitches. And I think Cody would have really liked to have pitched 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't know if that makes sense.
You're right. No, it really does. It does, because like on 0-2, you don't want to put anything that's right down the middle.
Make them chase.
Really, you don't even want to put anything that's on the corners. And if you make them chase, but you still throw a pitch that's close enough, and they don't want to chase, you can get them rung up. Absolutely. And you're right about that too. Like we've got all that information, and the coaches are sending that information back to the SEC office, and these umpires are being evaluated based upon that very information. The same info that we bring up on the baseball broadcast is the same information that Van Horn and Matt Hobbs and Nate Thompson are going by. And then
they called 22 strikes today that were off the plate.
They did?
No, I'm just saying that's the information that the coaches will send back.
I thought you might have talked about – I thought you meant in Carolina, Georgia, you had some inside information.
No. I mean, that's what they're saying, like on a Sunday,
yep.
Hey, they wanted to get out of town, but they called 22 strikes that were off the plate.
That's the thing sometimes that we don't I guess I don't think about it all the time, or you wonder about, well, why is a game being officiated the way it's being officiated? And then a coach will tell you, well, see that person sitting right there in the stands? That's these officials' boss. And that man here is not at every single game, but he's here today. And so today's game is going to be officiated a little bit differently. And they're right about that. When the umpires, when the officials, look, they always know that they're being watched. But if they're being watched in real time at that moment, sometimes those decisions are a little bit different.
Yeah, and they know the difference between Scott Klein and Tom French. I don't know. I made up that second name, obviously, but Scott Klein is a veteran.
I'm sure there's a Tom French who's an umpire somewhere.
Yeah, but they know the difference between in what they're going to call and what they're not going to call. And they're not surprised when Scott Klein's strike zone is X. I mean, they know what it's going to be. And when it isn't that, and when it changes because of TrackMan, they're like, well, gosh, we had the scouting report. We knew where our guy needed to throw it. That makes them mad.
Yeah,
that's when you see coaches, get tossed.
Bill in Effingham, Illinois. Good afternoon, Bill. Thanks for calling halftime today. What's up?
Hey, guys. Appreciate you taking my call. I'm an Arkansas boy. I'm on my way back to Arkansas for Memorial Day weekend, work up in West Virginia. Was able to tune in on ARSN Sports app and love hearing you guys. It's almost like I'm home even though I'm 400 miles away.
We'll
listen a little bit earlier talking about – yeah. Hearing you talking a little bit earlier about Van Horn and the strategy to get some guys involved that might not otherwise be involved and get some good playing time and whatever. But it seems like over the last several years, we get down to this point in the season and we're up against the best of the best competition as well. And we kind of lose our mojo a little bit and lose our confidence a little bit when we get down to these tougher games. And I just wonder what your opinions are about how important it is to go deep in this tournament, in this SEC tournament. I know it's kind of tough to stack wins on top of wins in baseball, but we got to win a few games, don't we?
Nope.
And as well as get some experience from some guys that don't normally get to the plate or don't normally get to the mound. So what's your opinions on that?
I do not think they need to win any games in Hoover. I think they'll try to win some, but they're not going to overcook anybody.
Man, I've seen there's so much like evidence to everybody's claim to how they feel this tournament, affects a team or not. Don't win the SEC tournament. You're never going to win a national title. Well, see 2019 Vanderbilt. Won the SEC tournament, won the national title. To Bill's claim, you want to try to win some games in Hoover and maybe get some mojo moving forward. Look at last year's Razorback team. 0-2 in Hoover, end of the season in third place nationally in the College World Series. And this team doesn't lose their mojo against some of the best teams in the country. They've played incredibly well against some of the better teams in the country. Tennessee, South Carolina, just to name a couple of them. They're a team that beat Alabama 2 out of 3. That's one of the hottest teams in the country. A team that swept Auburn. That's one of the hottest teams in the country. And sure, they didn't win a national title last year, but finishing in third place doesn't mean that you lost your mojo against the best teams in the country. It just means they ran into Dylan DeLucia, a right-handed pitcher for Ole Miss, at the wrong time. That's also what baseball's about. But this year's team, they don't need to do anything here. I think it's a matter of, I've thought to myself, Clay, you want to keep your habits about what it takes to win a game, right? And then I've been shown that that's wrong. And then in other instances, it's correct. So I just don't think it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Have you ever seen Dave Van Horn lose his mojo?
No, there was a year that he.
I'm asking you an obvious question. He does not lose his mojo,
but he has a sense of his team.
Yeah, he does.
He's always had a good sense of his team. Even that one year that they weren't any good in 2016. I think there was a point that he realized that team was heading in that direction, and he said as much to me. I didn't repeat it to anybody, but he said as much to me, and he probably mentioned that to a bunch of other folks. But what I see from this group is that they can create the mojo under almost any circumstance. Under any circumstance, losing your shortstop, losing your center fielder, losing your number 3 hitter, losing your Friday starter before the season, losing your closer, all of these really important pieces to a baseball team, and it really didn't seem to affect their ability to win or lose games. So that tells me that they can kind of create their own mojo, which I think if they lose 2 games here in a row, I'm not worried about what happens in Fayetteville in a regional.
They are so good at home. They play great in that stadium. And it'll be a great atmosphere. And the other thing that tells me they're a good team, they score a ton of runs with 2 outs. They've had 2-out rallies, nobody on base. You walk somebody, hits batsman, and then boom, off they go, 4 runs.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing of creating your own mojo. A little.
That's good teams.
Is one way
That's
to do
a good team.
Hey, B and Clark, go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It demoralizes the other guys.
Yeah, 2-out run will definitely demoralize a team. And on the flip side, leaving your opponent's runners on base in the same situation.
Same deal, yep.
Demoralizes them. B in Clarksville say, what is it, 2 weeks, Matt, until we're going to get 100-degree temperatures? You made a prediction on this?
What are we in, May right now? We're
May 23rd.
Yeah, about June, July, August. Yeah, somewhere in the middle of June, we're in Fort Smith that it gets hot.
When's the first day of summer this year? Do we know the first day of summer?
June 21st-ish.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to get some 100-degree days before we get to that. And BE says, yeah, you can't wear your short shorts and hop into your truck's black leather seats on days like that. And it's the one thing that I never had.
You got to have a towel. You set the towel down already. Yeah, you got to have the towel there. Oh.
That's a pro move.
It's like the golf cart. No, it's the golf cart. So I'll get if I'm riding with somebody and they're driving in the summertime and they park in the sun, it's like, well, you're going to have to get your own cart. You're going to have to ride with somebody else because you wear down. You can't just be out in the sun all day and for 4.5 hours. You got to park in the shade and take care of yourself. And you bring a big golf towel and you set it over your seat if you do have to park it in the sun, like if you're around the greens or whatever, because you do not want to go down there and putt and then walk back in there and sit on that. No bueno.
I got to tell this. We got time for a story. You tell me.
Go
Phil.
for it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so when I was in college and played amateur golf, my dad did not want to be seen watching me play.
Mm-hmm.
He did not want to put pressure on me. It's like, because people would gravitate. There'd be a crowd around him at the golf course. And so he would stay at a distance and take binoculars and watch me from a distance. I would never know he was there if I was leading a tournament or doing well. And he pulled me aside one time. Now, his brother was pro at Riverdale, and he told me, you're walking carrying your bag. He said, as soon as you tee off, Clay, you go straight to the tree line and walk in the shade. And then when you get even with your ball, you walk back out to your ball. So my dad's watching from a distance, and like 5 straight holes, he sees me walk straight to the woods. Well, that's where he thinks my ball's at. And then he sees me come out. I've hit it in the middle of the fairway every time. But that's a pro's advice.
Absolutely.
Walk in the shade. Don't walk right down the middle of the fairway in that heat when it's 105 and 98% humidity. And finally, one night at dinner, my dad says, for the love of God, would you walk down the middle of the fairway so I know you hit it straight?
Just give me a cloud in the sky and we'll do it.
Oh, yep. That's funny. Well, that's smart. I would still take the pros' advice over that.
No, it was the right advice. He got it finally. He figured it out. His brother told me to do it.
Callers or text us 877-377-6963. More halftime after this quick break.
If they say I never loved you, you know they are a liar. Driving down your freeway.
Do you need free legal advice? Listen to Coffee with Counsel with Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull on the Hit That Line podcast network.
Some judges pretty much don't let the parents even introduce their own evidence. It's just about questioning the witness of the department because the only thing they're looking for is whether probable cause existed to sign that emergency order. Parents feel so deflated after these hearings usually, and it's really hard to explain that this is just the nature of the hearing. It's not the full hearing on the merits.
For more information, go to hickeyandhull.com.
Right now, Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford is having a huge tire sale. Michelin, Goodyear, Bridgestone, all the major brands with the lowest price guarantee. Brakes, wheel alignment, oil change and maintenance, air conditioning, batteries, alternator, and so much more. At Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, we service all makes and models, and you never need an appointment. Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, where we meet or beat any advertised price. Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online 24/7 at randallford.com.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. WOW World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling, next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
50% off all in-stock sofa, love seats, sectionals, and recliners. A one-time offer for the month of May. We need to move it quick due to truckloads coming. 50% off all in-stock sofa, love seats, sectionals, and recliners. This sectional $21.99, now $1,100. Sofa Love $23.19, now $11.60. This recliner $451, now $226. Made USA cash and carry furniture sale. Get it while it lasts. Frank Rowe Furniture, best seats in the house.
Summer is finally here, and with it comes the heat. Don't get caught off guard with a broken AC unit. Upgrade now with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric to ensure a comfortable and cool summer. Get a new AC system before May 31st, and you'll receive a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. That's right, free. That's a value of over $1,000.
Thank you for choosing Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. We'll take care of everything so you can enjoy a worry-free summer.
Upgrade your AC today and get a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. Offer ends May 31st. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese. He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe and a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
So sorry, I keep interrupting. What were you gonna say? You caught him cheating. I don't blame you for walking away. I know where you're coming from. It sounds like where I've been. Oh, there I go, interrupting your story once again. Go on, go on. You were saying how a fool can only fool you so long. It's true, it's so true. When they do you like that, what else can you do but go on?
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Good to have Clay Henry with us today as well on Halftime. 877-377-6963 if you want any calls or texts with us here. Thank you, Jesse in the Mountain Home. First day of summer is, he gave us an exact time. Now, why would it, he says June 21st at 9:57 a.m. is when spring turns to summer. Why would it be not, when June 20th turns to June 21st at midnight? This is very, very exact. 9:57 in the morning. Jesse, I need another text. Where did you learn this from?
I was going to say he was paying attention in second hour. I don't know, physics. I don't know where that.
Well, that would be in the Farmer's Almanac, I guess.
Maybe so.
Probably, some of our listeners might have one of those handy at any moment. Would the Farmer's Almanac remind you that today is National Lucky Penny Day? Now, I'm not a superstitious person, or at least I don't think I am, but I don't know where this came from. It was a long time ago. I was warned not to pick up the pennies that are not heads up. So I only pick up a penny, not even just the pennies, but the dimes and the nickels have to be heads up. Quarter's a quarter. I'm taking 25 cents no matter what side is what. The other one's got to be heads up. So I guess I've got a little superstitious feeling about this thing. But I don't have one. Like, my son has a penny that he takes with him everywhere he goes. I think it's adorable. Do you guys have any, lucky pennies? Have you ever had one of those that you felt you needed? Or was it just lucky enough to throw it into a wishing well?
I had a lucky ball mark when I played golf. I had to have it. If I didn't have it, I was like, oh, this is going to be a bad day.
Who was Princess Diana's husband? The king. Who's the king now over there?
It's gosh, why am I forgetting his name?
He just had the coronation.
Charles.
King Charles. King Charles had a lucky pitcher he liked to carry around with him. That's for sure.
Oh man, sometimes I don't know where to go from.
Did you ever have penny loafers
on your wedding day? If your opposite other just pulls out the picture of his last flame on your wedding day, wouldn't you be like, I think something might be a little off going on?
Oh gosh, and I still didn't. You obviously watched the entire coronation, Matt. Since you're always up to watch whatever major soccer game is being played in the EPL or the Champions League, you had to have been away from the coronation.
Matt, I think that someday we're going to get a text. Matt, where'd you go? Says, I'm in Wales.
That's right.
I'm here, and I'm not coming back.
Clay, it's going to be 20.
You're going to do it, aren't you?
2026. We got the World Cup coming to America. I'm already mapping out where we're going. You know, it's going to be a good one.
We're going. You're going to let me go with you, aren't you?
You can go. Come on.
It's going to be a road trip.
Come on. We just take the Comrex box with us. Phil, you're going.
Trucks.
Hopefully, we'll still have the show going on.
For Maddie, we can do the show Hey, we can just put the Comrex in the middle of the truck, all four of us together. This will be easy to do, man. It'll be.
We'll have the scarves. We'll have the scarves of the country. You know that we're cheering for.
Italy. I'm all Italy. That didn't even make the last
one. I knew you were
one.
in Italy.
Yeah.
I knew that was.
They won the last Euros and didn't qualify for the World Cup. I thought if you won the Euros, you would automatically get in, but for some weird whatever's going on, they didn't.
Yeah, they don't do the exemption thing that professional golf does. The only exempt country is the host country, right?
Right. Yeah, and they flight it to where they want that host country to make it through the knockout stage. So as American fans, soccer fans, it would be really embarrassing if USA Soccer doesn't make it out of the group stage on your home track.
Last time we hosted, we didn't, right?
Well, Russia did, and Russia's. Well, you look down the line at some of these teams where they host, and I couldn't tell you if we did. Was that 94? Was 94. The last one because the girls won it the next year up there in Utah?
Might have made it through. I just remember a win over Colombia that was like disastrous for the guy who scored the own goal for Colombia.
My goodness!
Murdered when he got back home.
Oh boy!
Remember that?
Yeah. So how about the ultimate exemption grabber, Mike Block at the PGA?
How cool was that?
Now he's got next year's PGA. He's in the Colonial. He's in the Canadian. I mean, it just keeps he keeps getting calls.
I think he got invited to this next week's tournament. But what Clay, that up and down. I was telling Phil that up and down on 18 was just one of the best.
It is
because that's to get 15th place.
Yeah, that was more remarkable than the hole-in-one.
Oh my goodness!
How did he get invited to this PGA Championship?
Oh, he finished in the top 20 in the PGA Club Pros tournament. That's how you. So there's 20 or maybe 24. I can't remember the number, but they have sectional qualified, and then they have the National PGA of America. He's done it like 15 times or something. This isn't like his first time to be in the PGA Championship, but it's the first time that he's gone off and shot 3 straight 70s. But I think he's won the sectional in California like 18 times. He is the preeminent club pro with a game in Southern California. Mission Viejo, I think is how you say it.
Isn't he the last one since 86, the best finish since 86 in the PGA?
That guy finished 11th. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
and that was a club pro.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So that's what everyone says makes the PGA the weakest of the 4 majors, is because you got 20 club pros in there that can't win. I mean, he wasn't going to win.
He wasn't. And the moment those guys are professionals, and he had a nice little swing playing that little draw, and you could tell, Clay, that he was feeling like you said, he's been the Club Pro champion out there in Cal. You could tell that he was halfway comfortable out there.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was not scared of the golf course, and he could hit it straight. And the idea that they had a heavy rough fit his game. But he's going to play Colonial, and I think that he's already gotten 3 more sponsors exemption. I saw the video where he's sitting in the bar after buying everybody drinks. When you make a hole-in-one, you buy everybody drinks, and he made $300,000 or whatever it was.
288.
So he can pay for the drinks, and his someone calls and his phone rings, and it's the tournament director at Colonial. Is like, hey, what are you doing next week? He goes, well, I got to ask my boss. And the president of the club is sitting there. You know, his club president had flown out. And he goes, hey, you're off next week. And then somebody else called. He's like, well, you're off that week too.
So then at what point do you cease being a golf pro and go be a professional golfer?
Well, that's obviously.
Well, he's not going to do that. He's not going to make a living making cuts out there. He's just not that kind of player. And he knows, and he said it over and over. And I don't think that's what he wants to do. Because he would have already, gone to the qualified school and tried it. He wants to be a club pro.
And he moved up over 3,000 spots in the official World Golf Ranking.
Yeah, he moved up.
How many spots are there in the professional golf ranking?
There's 3,000. Yeah.
He was at the very end. Yeah. All right, let's break because I know we're getting into the home stretch in just a moment here. 877-377-6963 to get with us on halftime. The A&M Tennessee game is in the bottom of the third inning right now. The Aggies have scored the only run of that game. Earlier today, South Carolina ended Georgia's season 9-0. Carolina moves on to the second round, and they'll play LSU in the morning tomorrow. And then Arkansas and either the Aggies or the Volunteers right after that. Want to remind you about Roller Funeral Homes. Arkansans have voted Roller Funeral Homes best of the best 23 consecutive years in the Democrat-Gazette readership poll. Generations of families across Arkansas have recognized the Roller difference, and they know that when you call on Roller, you will receive all their respect. Roller Funeral Homes has the most highly trained staff of funeral professionals in Arkansas. So if you need help with life insurance policies, prepaid funerals, and cemetery markers, go to rollerfuneralhomes.com for more information. Halftime back after this quick break.
Tommy Smith for Bet Saracen.
Hey, if you're like me and enjoy putting a little something on your favorite sporting event, then get Bet Saracen. Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Download the app or go to betsaracen.com. Oh, and by the way, I finally upgraded my 20-year-old flip phone so I can actually play too.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Right now, Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford is having a huge tire sale. Michelin, Goodyear, Bridgestone, all the major brands with the lowest price guarantee. Brakes, wheel alignment, oil change and maintenance, air conditioning, batteries, alternator, and so much more. At Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, we service all makes and models, and you never need an appointment. Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, where we meet or beat any advertised price. Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online 24/7 at randallford.com.
What does a food truck chef in L.A.,
order up,
a hip-hop producer from St. Louis,
check 1 2,
and the king of the pickup courts in Philly have in common? They share the same grit, resilience, and passion for what they do. Because the people who share the same spirit share the same beer. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you looking for a change of scenery? Lavorne Lumber is looking to hire a Class A CDL flatbed driver for a regional position. Lavorne Lumber is highly competitive in pay. Lavorne Lumber is a family-owned lumber and trucking company. Home most nights and every single weekend. Guaranteed. Lavorne Lumber has top-of-the-line equipment. If you're interested in the job, stop by Lavorne Lumber at 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith Monday through Friday from 9 to 4.
Looking for a piece of equipment? Head on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore their latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer and Cinnabogan authorized service provider. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need complete, at Sharp Equipment, they help you move more than just the world. They help you move forward. From excavators to powerful skid steers, Sharps can find the right equipment for your needs. See Sharp Equipment located in Central Hydraulic at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or call 479-242-1406.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Come into Gray Brothers Equipment and pick from our great selection of BX Kubota tractors or the ever-dependable L-Series Kubota compact tractor up to the L4701 compact tractor with 0% financing up to 72 months. It's time for your new Kubota. Now through June 30th, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information. Gray Brothers Equipment, Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. To halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Well, the infield third at the Hoover bat getting a little bit choppy right now as it continues to rain in Hoover, Alabama. Another hour or so, but they are not going to stop that ball game. A&M leading Tennessee 1-0 in the fourth. Hogs will get the winner of that game tomorrow, and Arkansas's opener in the SEC tournament. Jeremy in Tulsa, thank you for the phone call. Jeremy, what's going on?
Hey, Phil. Hey, Matt. How are you guys?
We're great today.
Yo.
Thank you.
Good. Just a quick question. Phil, I was listening to I was watching the Texas A&M Tennessee game, and they were talking about the regular season, and they brought up Florida and Arkansas, basically saying that, we're co-champs, but Florida won the tiebreaker to give them the number one overall seed. Now, since we're both 20-10 in conference, how do they go about figuring out that tiebreaker, and what did they win? How did they win the tiebreaker between the two teams?
Is the first thing not head-to-head? Wouldn't they play a three-game head-to-head?
Head-to-head is the first one, but they didn't play. And Florida didn't play this year. So the second tiebreaker, if you're not a division opponent, if it's a tiebreaker in the division, then it's your record against the division. If it's a non-division opponent, then you go your record against the top seed all the way down. Oh. So what this led to was Arkansas had a worse record against Vanderbilt than Florida did. That's how it went to. Because the top seeds would have been Arkansas, Florida, then LSU. Florida didn't play LSU, and then Vanderbilt. So Hogs went 1-2.
Florida didn't play LSU or Arkansas. They don't count then. That doesn't. They
got
the
out
SEC
easy,
champs.
Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
They got out easy. That's what I'm saying. Come on. We played Florida, we played LSU, Vanderbilt. I mean, I know they
South
played
Carolina.
Well,
yeah.
Well, that kind of works both ways. Arkansas didn't play Florida either.
That's right. That's right. But they did play. They
did play LSU.
Arkansas's league like the schedule, and Mark Etheridge of D1 Baseball put this out. The other teams Arkansas played, when you take away the games that the Razorbacks played against them, was right about 500. A couple more losses than wins. So the Hogs played a pretty tough schedule in the league and out of the league too. Like Army West Point, who almost beat Arkansas in a midweek game. They're Patriot League champions. Eastern Illinois, I think, is in position in the OVC. So there are a couple teams that Arkansas played preseason. But, I think also –
not too shabby.
That's right. One thing that also helped the RPI guys was the wins over Texas and Oklahoma State, because those teams have had pretty good seasons. They're both in position to host. So that helped the RPI. I don't think any doubt. Jeremy, thanks for the call. Good to hear from you.
And they were neutral site.
That's right, and this is a neutral site too, right here. Hoover has had the SEC tournament every year since 1999, save for 2020, of course. There was no tournament then. And, man, we've talked – I'd love to see the tournament get to other places, but I don't see that happening. I think Memphis would be a great place. Little Rock would be a great place for it. You could –
do you have to have multiple fields? Do you have to have field turf? No. Is there anything that's special? What makes it where you can accommodate so many teams? Little Rock could accommodate that many baseball teams. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't. The problem is the ballpark is not wired for television, as we well know. So that would be a problem.
That's why you wouldn't.
Yeah. That's why you wouldn't have it there. But as far as the city's size is concerned, and the number of hotel rooms, they've hosted the NCAA basketball tournament, but it's not even worth getting into because the ballpark's not built for it. Memphis would be a great place. The AAA park in Gwinnett, Georgia, I think would be a great place too. Take Jacksonville as a great AA ballpark, AAA ballpark. That would work. Heck, you could the Rangers. The Rangers host the Big 12 tournament at Globe Life Field. I don't know many college deals that are done at the Atlanta Braves ballpark, but that would be one. That's not far from here. That's like a 2-hour drive from Birmingham. But I think, Clay, they're just this is where the SEC tournament is. I think they re-signed the deal with Hoover for I don't know how long, but
they want it, and the key part of that is that they want the SEC tournament, and it's not far from Birmingham. It makes a lot of sense. There's It also helps that Alabama and Auburn suck most of the time.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a home field advantage for either one of those teams because they're not going to fill up the park. If Arkansas in Alabama or Arkansas and Auburn, the crowd will be about the same. The Arkansas fans will dominate. So there's a lot that goes into the SEC tournament being in Hoover, and I really don't have a problem with that.
It is also less than a 6-hour drive from Baton Rouge. So, they sometimes they'll call it the LSU Regional or the LSU Invitational. But, yeah, you would think you'd want multiple fields and field turf for all the games that they play for a conference tournament. But this and Baum-Walker Stadium are the only two fields in the entire SEC that doesn't have a single speck of artificial surface.
Then let's keep it at Hoover.
Right.
Let's keep it there. We're right on.
They've got all the Cloverleaf fields. There's a lot of other sporting facilities around the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. You remember they did that World Games thing in Birmingham, I think it was last summer or the summer before. That was pretty much at and around the Hoover Met, and then, the soccer stadium or the football stadiums that they have downtown where UAB plays and some of those other parks. But they have this is a somewhat of a ground zero for youth showcase baseball in the summertime. Because there's Cloverleaf fields that are all artificial turf that are 5 home runs away from home plate at the ballpark where the Hogs play tomorrow, and then Hoover High School is just down the way. This stadium used to be the home of the Birmingham Barons. This was the stadium
where MJ played.
This was the stadium that MJ played.
Yeah.
In fact, they've got a big, I would say, a life-size poster, but it's like life-size times 50 poster.
They retire 45.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't
How
know.
cool is that? Think about that in the early 90s or mid 90s, having MJ play at your AA baseball squad. That'd have been just cool, right? Like
the photos.
And he rode the bus with them, like he was part of the team.
He bought the bus for him.
Absolutely, of course he did.
he didn't just ride the bus; he owned the bus. Oh gosh, that would have been something else to be for. The guy that still does Birmingham Barons radio, Kurt Bloom, was the radio announcer then. So I know he's got some stories.
He was the biggest
that.
star on the planet at that time. Like he was. That's how cool.
Such an interesting thing for somebody to do. And we've all seen Jordan Rides the Bus, that great 30 for 30. He was into it. I mean, he was a baseball player. He was going to go to the Arizona Fall League, and Jerry Reinsdorf even thought that he was getting better in that 1 year that he played minor league baseball. And who knows? I mean, I don't know anybody that would put something by him, but to just be able to hit 200 in your only year of playing Double-A baseball, it's actually pretty impressive when you look back at it, Clay.
Could not hit the curveball.
No,
he knew that, and eventually, every pitcher is like, "Man, we're going to give you 3 curveballs."
He was a little gangly out there too. That 6'6" basketball.
Yeah, he was
frame.
gangly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the outfielders that I worked with that were 6'6", and I can't think of any.
Was Aaron Judge 6'6", 6'7"?
Aaron Judge is 6'7".
Yeah, well,
he's bigger. He's bigger and bulkier too than Ed.
Yeah, I was thinking Trout. Trout's 6'1", 6'2". Bryce Harper about the same.
Trout's though, man, when you look at Trout and you could
he's
see
just yoked though.
Travs.
He's just it's like he hasn't missed the weight room. Yeah.
He's a football player and a baseball
player.
Yeah,
he's a strong safety out there.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I would have paid money to watch Mike Trout hit over the middle.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I would say he's too nice, but he mashes those baseballs.
Hey, some of those D-backs are really nice off the field, and then you get them, and they're a different animal once the lights come on. Yeah.
I would have liked to see Trout play football, but then who knows how long his career would have lasted.
Like to see LeBron James play tight end. I mean, that'd have been Antonio Gates right there.
Now that makes a little sense. Now you're making a little sense. I remember going into this, I did the show one time in one of the visiting locker rooms at the Hoover Met, and I couldn't help but think to myself, I didn't know if this was the Barons locker room or if it was the visitors. And so I made it up in my mind. I'm like, yes, this is where Michael Jordan got dressed for minor league baseball games. And it just, I don't know, it just hit me a little bit.
Absolutely, dude.
Because it's one of the most interesting, unexpected things that an athlete has done in my lifetime. And that's the only thing
at
that
the
they
peak
have
of
now
your
at that
powers
ballpark is this tournament, and Hoover High School football plays there. That's it.
Yeah, being at the peak of your powers, saying, no, I'm going to go try this other thing that I'm not very good at, but I'm going to go give it my all. And, I mean, it's pretty cool, yeah.
877-377-6963. If you got anything for us as we conclude halftime in just a moment, we can break and end things here and get into the final few minutes here. If you didn't hear, Ron Holland has been released from his national letter of intent by the Texas Longhorns. He is visiting the G League Ignite team in Las Vegas today. So we're at that moment. We're at that week now where it feels like some of these decisions get much more compressed. So there might be some more movement on Arkansas basketball roster construction sometime in the next few days. As for us, we will break. We'll wrap up halftime after this.
I want a shot of redemption. Don't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard. Bone digger, dogs in the moonlight. Far away, my well-lit door. Mr. Beer Melly, get these mutts away from me, I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you Betty, Betty, when you call me, you can call me out.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low-mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Shop Meadows Lumber True Value for great bargains of the month. Keep your yard looking lush and green with our top-of-the-line products. Right now, the Never King Heavy Duty Garden Hose by Green Thumb is only $19.99. Also, make sure to pick up some Weed and Grass Killer Concentrate by Roundup for just $9.99 with a mail-in rebate. Complete your lawn and garden kit with Green Thumb's 2-gallon home and garden sprayer for just $15.99. For $9.99, grab a 3-pack paint roller cover by Master Painter Best. Save $6 or more on a First Alert fire extinguisher for just $19.99. Don't miss out. Get these bargains of the month while supplies last. Meadows Lumber True Value.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Hi, this is Melissa Vitale, owner of True Grit Running Company. Your young athlete deserves the best when it comes to footwear. After all, it's good to start early so they don't have problems in the future. We've got options for training, cross-country, gym class, and more. Our well-trained staff can guide your student athlete through our personalized fit process to help find that True Grit fit. And for our cross-country kids, we offer a 10% discount off of your total purchase. Visit our store in Fort Smith, located behind Chick-fil-A.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Herod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Save hundreds of dollars on new and pre-owned Chevrolets right now at Road Chevrolet Van Buren. The recent severe weather brought hail to our vehicles, and that means savings for you. Take advantage of these savings now while they last, only at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Our loss is your gain. These units gotta go, so get to Road Chevrolet now for the best selection. See dealer for details about inventory and savings. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren and RoadChevy.com. Prices you'll love. People you can trust.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It's time to let your babies grow up to be
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
A&M's got Troy Watson throwing 4 innings of no-hit pitching, 2-0 A&M at the end of 4. Arkansas gets the winner of Tennessee, Texas A&M tomorrow, and right about this time tomorrow, they're going to be right in the middle of it. Before we go, Clay, Stan in Glenwood had asked if we'd ask a question about Orville, about how close Orville was to Frank Broyles, because he says it seems Mr. Henry was always in the know. Orville was always in the know, is what Stan says.
I would say best friends. I don't know how many times a week they talked, but it was a bunch. And it was nothing for the phone to ring. Of course, no cell phones, 60s and 70s. I answered the phone, and he got to where he could recognize, I had 3 brothers, he could recognize which brother answered the phone and call us by name.
That would be a family friend in that case, no doubt.
No question. Yes, I can, or he might talk to my mother a little while if she answered. I mean, it might not be just straight to, to my dad.
How many years did it take for the relationship to develop like that?
I think it was, pretty quick. I think 2 or 3 years, because he was covering the program a little bit more closely than, say, the others around the state, even before Coach Broyles got there. And he had decided that would be their ticket to win the state. The Gazette had unpopular integration rule, like editorials, and the Democrat was probably winning. And then my dad kind of rescued the program, or the paper, with their coverage of the Razorbacks, because everybody in 75 counties, that's what they wanted. But I got to tell you this story. My brother Butch was the SID in '76 when Coach Broyles retired as coach, continued as AD. But that was going to happen in the final game. Darrell Roll retired too the same day in Austin. They play Arkansas and Texas played the last game, and so my dad had the scoop, planned it all week, wrote the story, didn't show it to anybody, and it came out at 10:45 after the TV news sports had already concluded, and then the paper hits the street, and it's A1. Frank Broyles will retire after the game tomorrow. I don't remember the exact words, but that's what it said. And so Harry King, who worked for AP, ran down my brother about 11 o'clock, who's the SID, in his hotel room in Austin. And he says, there's a report that Coach Broyles is retiring after the game. My brother says, absolutely not. That is not going to happen. I've been with him all day. There's nothing like that that's going to happen. And he says, who ran the story? And he goes, well, your dad. He goes, well, then that absolutely is true. He'll retire after the game tomorrow. And he didn't know, but he knew that would be right.
He knew that meant it was true.
Yep.
Oh, I like that. Clay, thanks for ending the show with that story. That's a good one there. Matt Jones, Matt Travis, see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning for a 9 o'clock edition of Halftime. First quarter, I guess is what we'll call it. Eastside Liquor Halftime podcast coming out very soon. And Ruskin and Zach will take you from 2 o'clock until whenever they let you go. 7 o'clock, I know that. As for us, for Clay, for Matt, I'm Phil. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow bright and early, 9 o'clock in the morning for Halftime tomorrow. Now get up, get out, and get better.